Guys, Wolfgang here. I'm here in Dallas at TCH, but on April 20th and 21st, I'm heading all the way down to Houston. That's right, they just opened up a new card room there, and I'm gonna come out to meet a bunch of you guys. The 20th is gonna be a live stream on their YouTube channel, TCH Live, and that's gonna be at 5:10. You guys are gonna wanna watch that. On the 21st, I'm hosting a meetup game from 7 p.m. to midnight. Anyone can make the vlog, and who knows, I might put a bang sticker on you if I'm lucky, not you. I'll see you guys there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm unmuted now. And that was kind of a fire beat to follow on the previous ads. If you missed the ads or watching later in time, rewind, watch those super nifty ads. Kind of a throwdown type beat there for that previous ad. But thanks for joining us, everybody. It's TCH Live. Ben K and Aaron McAvoy with you tonight for our mega high stakes night, Tuesday night. I see Dong on the mix and JD and Brian Green. So I imagine we are due to have another embarrassingly high nosebleed stakes game. Aaron, how's it going, sir? It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah, man, it is good to be back. Been a couple of weeks off of the job here. We had to go out on the TCH poker cruise and soak up some sun out there. A little bit too much sun, I might say. But it was a great time, and I'm happy to be back. So good to be here with you, buddy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'd like to hear more about the cruise as the night progresses, because this is our first time talking. It looked like a super fun event. I'm assuming it was, but I would love to hear more about it as the night goes on. Again, we're playing 25, 25, 50 no limit hold'em. But if you've watched this game for any amount of time, you know that it generally goes up to 25, 25, 50, 100, 200, 400 sometimes. So strap in, folks. We've got a very high stakes game coming at you for the next 4 hours. Again, this is Texas Card House Dallas. The channel is TCH Live, and it's Ben K and Aaron McAvoy with you. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. All that good YouTube stuff that helps the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps us out a ton. And Moneymaker, repping for the Longhorns now, you Austin folks down there. Generally, Moneymaker reps it for the Cowboys, but now rocking the UT Orange. We're a mixed company here, so we'll see if that evokes any strong feelings in the chat. Speaking of the chat, we'll be monitoring it all night long. Aaron McAvoy is quite the poker mind, so if you have poker questions, I'll defer those to him. But if you've got dumb food questions or middle-aged man parental questions, I'm the one, maybe. And maybe we'll get into some TV talk and international cuisine talk as the night goes on as well.
Perfect. All right. So, yeah, a couple of fresh faces here at the table, certainly from my perspective. We've got $50 to call here from George in the 6th seat, or perhaps we have the table arrangements off. Not exactly sure if he's in the straddle or if he's just limped here, but looks like he is in the $50 straddle. So we'll get that reset.
Cashman, but that's a different kid. This is Moneymaker.
Move on. Mallory Poker hanging out in the chat. What's up, Mallory?
What's up, Mallory? She joined me in the booth for a bit last week, and that was a really good time to finally commentate with her. Mallory is as good as they come. And Yacht Club, single raise.
You fucked me up. I remember.
I
remember now.
Now he remembers.
I remember.
Yeah, it looks like George getting to know everybody. A lot of these guys are regulars, but George,
I remember George.
new to the stream at least. Probably not too new to poker if you're playing 3-blind green chip games of the no limit variety. Brian Green, I love to watch this guy play. It's always super entertaining. And he's got Dong on his left, who's got like 60K in front of him. I just don't see how this isn't a continuation of last week's high stakes game.
No, I forgot until just now. You reminded me.
Were you on that one on Tuesday?
Oh, yeah.
No, I decided to take the Tuesday after the cruise off.
Oh, okay.
So was not watching it either, but I guess it was fire, huh? Sounds
Yeah.
like Brian and Dawn got into it, or what?
Well, I'm at least on the Wednesday night game, Brian had some really fun hands, but Dong, I didn't watch it, but apparently Dong was into the game for about 100, stuck, and at least on the stream, left the stream stuck about 6 figures, which is, you don't wish ill on anybody, but it's at least entertaining to see a game where hundreds of thousands can be lost or won.
Lost every single day.
Yeah, no, that is pretty spicy.
One of the days, Paolo.
For sure. All right, so we got $50 straddle on here. Some rags going into the muck. Dong here, going to open from the cutoff. King 7 of hearts.
Can't remember the day of the week.
In today's poker, this feels pretty standard when folded to
Oh,
late
absolutely.
I
position.
guess it was on Friday.
Yeah, you can even raise the suited kings from earlier positions as well. When these players all super deep, and you know you make a king high flush, you've got a pretty good chance of winning a big pot. So why not raise it up and see what happens? Paolo here after just a couple of hands, the only player really starting off with any momentum, up a couple thousand after winning the initial flip,
Nothing planned
and
right now.
another hand.
Like nothing planned.
Paolo, pretty strong player from what I've seen. It hasn't been a huge sample, but all the streams that I've called, Paolo has been pretty
We should go somewhere next week. And then, like,
strong. We'll see if he can continue that tonight. Any one session is an independent event. So Paolo raising King Jack and Yacht Club right away, 3-betting Ace 10 suited. All right, so we're playing by the book poker for now.
yeah, it'll be on
Maybe we get
YouTube.
the drinks flowing here shortly.
Yeah. It's on like a 15, 20 minute delay probably. And so like you can actually go like 20 minutes till it
Yeah,
starts.
so for those of you guys that tuned in a little bit after the intro, Wolfgang Poker going to be down in Houston, firing up a meetup game on April 21st of this, 21st of April at 7 p.m. till midnight down there, and then there's also going to be a live stream. Check it out on Thursday, 4/20, starting off at 6 p.m. Going to be a 5-10 no limit hold'em live stream with Wolfgang Poker, so I hope you guys will tune in for that.
Sure, that'll be a good time. Nice new room, nice new chips. Everybody's excited to play at the new TCH Houston. That'll be a fun one. Not a shabby stake either. Houston 510, I imagine, is pretty similar to Dallas 510 as it comes monotone for Brian only. Pez, good day, sir. I saw you scooped attorney on Instagram recently. GLs, or GGs. All right, well, we might as well talk about it since everyone's playing Raise and Take It for now.
Celebrities. We got Dong here, Dallas Dong. We got,
Aaron, how was
Brian
your
Green down
cruise
here,
experience,
WSB bracelet
specifically
winner,
the
champion.
poker? I'm sure maybe it took a
Chris
second for
Moneymaker.
everything to get well-oiled, but
Famous.
tell us about your, maybe you talked about this before, but I'd be curious to hear how the cruise was.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely fantastic. So this was my first cruise ever, first annual, TCH poker cruise as well. So it was an absolutely stellar experience. We got on board, everything sort of went pretty smoothly. We disembarked, and by like 5 p.m. something like that, and then literally we went and ate dinner and showed up down in the little poker area where they'd gotten all the tables set up. They had about 8 tables or something set up for us, and by something like 7:30 on that first day, we got the games going. We started playing some 1-2. We even had 1-3 going pretty regular throughout the trip. So yeah, it was fantastic. 2-3 tables going at one time, sometimes a tournament going as well. So plenty of action. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
And everybody that I spoke to, including a bunch of people that I hadn't met before, some familiar faces from around the state as well. I know Poker Monkey was there, a couple other folks from up in Dallas. it was just a fantastic
stream,
time.
like,
We all
5
had a
or 6 days a
blast,
week.
and
But
definitely
just from,
hope
like,
that
the
they
other,
put that together
Austin,
again
Houston, I
in the
think,
future.
Saturday they streamed the tournament final
great.
table.
Yeah, Brian here gonna make the call. Sorry, just betting for value actually with the 8s all the way down. Paolo happy to just call, and he'll take that one down with the top pair.
I didn't move it.
Poker Monkey in the chat says Derek and the dealers did a great job of running the room. That is absolutely right. Derek, of course, was there, taking care of the cage duties and running the tournaments and everything else, along with a lot of the other Dallas folks as well. So it was really fantastic. Great time.
That's cool. What a unique experience to have a poker focus. I mean, there have been poker cruises in the past, but it's always cool to have a poker-focused cruise where you get the best of both worlds, a nice vacation and also some people where you know you're going to find a game.
Yeah, the best part about it was, so we took off on Sunday evening, and we had to just sail for a couple of days to get down to Roatan in Honduras. That was our first stop, and then we sort of turned around and came back up and stopped at a couple of places, Cozumel and another spot in Mexico. And so, as we were just sailing, we're just out on the open seas. There were plenty of other activities that you could do, cruise-related activities and whatnot, but the poker room was definitely where it was at.
Yeah. Was there a concurrent, oftentimes they have those digital poker tables in the casino. Was that also available too, or was it just the TCH poker that was the cards to be played?
Yeah, let me come back to that here, as we've got a 3-bet pot here. Dong going for the 3-bet from the straddle. ZeeFish does make the call with the ace-deuce of clubs. Dong here with the betting lead and range advantage here. Just going to go ahead and c-bet here. And for a relatively large size here, given the dry texture. I mean, some people will say, well, that's still a down bet, but, this board is just so strongly Dong's that he doesn't need to bet very much with his best hands and his bluffs, because it's just going to be such a tough board for his opponent to continue on. Does go for the relatively large size there, and that's going to do it there. ZeeFish lets it go. But yeah, so they did have some poker tables up in the casino. And I actually really didn't spend hardly any time whatsoever in the casino. I kind of walked through there, was about it. But I guess they were raking a pretty exorbitant amount, taking up to $15 out of pots. Whereas down in the TCH area, it was getting capped at $5. So it was a complete no-brainer to go and play with TCH people, and I think the majority of people were just doing that. Now, of course, there were other people just on the cruise, thousands of other people on the cruise,
right? And
some of those folks actually were sort of exposed to the fact that we had poker running down on the third deck, and so we had some fresh faces of people that hadn't even come on the cruise to play cards with us come and join us. So that was
that's
cool.
awesome. And there was an ability for them to participate.
Yeah, I mean, because you didn't have to show up and have a stamped passport or anything that said you were there with TCH. So pretty much if somebody wanted to come and hang out with us, we were very welcoming of that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Looks like a 4-bet or a 3-bet from Paolo.
Yeah, this is actually going to be a limp back raise here from Paolo, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right. Yep. Call 100. George to 375. Paolo back to 1500. What a weird line. Not good or bad. It's just this is.
Then we'll talk.
Well, Paolo's. Maybe the graphics are wrong. So Paolo is just the straddle, right?
Yeah. So we had a double straddle. George put on the 100. It folded to Paolo in the single straddle. He makes the call with the 5-4 suited. George raises ace-10 off, as I think is pretty standard, and then Paolo goes for the back raise.
Interesting.
And the ace-10 just goes into the muck there. So I think you know, that's a little bit of Paolo just kind of testing the waters, perhaps, against against George.
And it wasn't calculated. It was just like had an error.
5-4 suited, you know, just really unblocking just a ton of different hand combinations that George can have that is going to feel the pressure. But yeah, unique play does get the job done. Here we go. Everybody playing black cards here.
I just export everything.
Brian is going to raise this up on the button. Gets no taker.
Yeah, it's like, here's all transactions. You figure it out.
Mo the Cat asking, did you have smooth sailing, any turbulence, or good stage shows? So I really didn't do any of the like onboard cruise activities. Yeah, I mean, just played cards, and then aside from that, just like went and ate and hung out with you know, some of the poker people that I knew. The sailing was smooth. We did have a little bit of rain early on, but really didn't affect that much as far as I was concerned, since I was just happy to be inside playing cards while we were out at sea. But then when we were at Roatan and in Mexico, it was beautiful. Skies were clear, sun was out. In fact, I got a lot of sun and burnt the heck out of my shoulders and everything. But yeah, it was amazing.
Very cool.
Really, extension isn't really needed.
Raising a couple calls. ZeeFish, King, Queen suited.
Yeah, he sent me the first estimate, but I hadn't sent him
And
everything.
Moneymaker.
So I sent him everything else. So they
Flops gin.
I still owe him a couple things. Probably.
Moneymaker probably reasonably thinks that a lot of aces are c-betting here, and so he is going to just call in position.
What do you think the commentary was like?
I can also
talking about their taxes.
Pay your taxes, boys.
Yeah, ZeeFish here, not going to love getting called by Moneymaker in position. Is going to slow down with the check here.
Give me too much money. I gotta.
I wonder if Moneymaker feels like he can only get one street, either this one or the next one.
You guys send me your tax ID.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Send it to
Let's check it back. ZeeFish improving to a pair of queens. Go with the 9s and the 8s on board. Moneymaker now, of course, going to go for a bet. And now the question is, how small does he go? Yeah, even 2/3 is too much for the river pair of queens.
Disciplined fold from ZeeFish, which might be standard, but a lot of times you see players at least think about it with some type of showdown value. But quick fold from ZeeFish.
Yeah, the problem for him is that he just really doesn't beat anything. Like, it's almost impossible for Moneymaker to call the bet on the flop with anything that isn't beating him, or is just going to check and take its showdown, right? Like, you'd have to believe there that Moneymaker is just going to take like pocket sixes and bluff it for this very small 2/3 value looking size, you know? Just pretty unlikely event, so makes a lot of sense to just snap fold the queen.
Dong raising it once again. JD facing a raise and a call. So I've seen him 3-bet in these spots. And he just calls.
3 players.
Pretty nice for Dong. 2 overs and the King High Club draw. Just see in front of Dong is that those yellow chips are worth $5,000 a piece. The stacks of blues are $1,000 a piece. Or excuse me, the blue chips are $1,000 a piece. The stacks are worth $20,000. Pinks are 500, blacks are 100.
That's it.
Now Dong just has the world.
Yeah, George sticking around with the ace-queen high. Don't hate it, but at the same time, you know, even when you are ahead like he was, it's just going to be so hard to hang on across multiple streets. Does pick up a gut shot to go with the 2 overcards, and he is going to make the call here for 1,100 and just gets there. Clean 10 of hearts on the river, but then doesn't bet out. So not going to get any additional value from the river straight. So playing this one perhaps a little bit unorthodox, not going for a raise at any point or a bet when his hand does improve on the river. So just going to take what's in the middle. Still a healthy 4K pot there.
Yeah, George, welcome to the game. Maybe we'll see some newcomers run good, as we often see. in the Tuesday night
per
game.
country.
Yeah.
And it was like U.S. and Europe and all these people, and like what, like not even like which percent are supposed to pay,
Dude,
like which like actually.
I'm
Like,
over here stressing out over like 0.11 unaccounted BTC and like all the hundreds of transactions and all these other people.
I mean, like the amount of people who like actually pay taxes on their crypto was like 0.3% or something. Like worldwide average is probably like 0.5% for all countries. So like.
Interesting conversation here.
99.5%
Very apropos given the fact that we are T-minus 1 week from taxes due day.
Oh, yeah. Poker players' favorite subjects.
It's old, yeah.
The good news is that most poker players don't make any money, and so it's a nice little write-off for them.
The good news.
At least that's how I like to frame it for my accountant.
There you go. I didn't make anything, so don't worry about it. All right, a couple of sevens here for George. Raises it up to 300 here. ZeeFish. It looked like he had made a raise to 1,000. It's actually raised to 800, I suppose. His card's not scanned in, so we may have some card read issues on this one, but we'll sort of do the best we can. We see a Jack 9-8 flop. Yeah, definitely card read errors on this one, so bear with us.
I feel you. I 100% agree with that.
Checky.
Brian, they just want to catch your 3-bet on the camera, you know?
Hearts come through here on the deuce turn. ZeeFish leads out for a small bet, and George here with a pair of sevens, bottom end of the gutty. No heart is going to make the call. Pretty relatively precarious spot for him. Although he did just bang off a gutter on the last hand. So going to try to do it again. Doesn't come through. It's a queen of diamonds. ZeeFish will bet once more this time. A good, healthy size up 2/3 on the river, 2.2 thousand.
You got last week.
Now we'll send George to the exit.
Oh, can I get a cup? This one's like spilling.
So yeah, we had a bunch of cash games throughout the week. We had our excursions, which were super awesome. In Roatan, did a little beach excursion to go out and do some snorkeling and hang out on this just truly beautiful beach. Definitely highly recommended if anybody does make it down to Roatan in the future. It's called Tabiana Beach. Really amazing spot. Hung out there, made some new friends. And then, yeah, the Mexico stops were great as well. The food was fantastic. And then on the last day when we were sailing back towards Galveston to port, the last day before we got back, the TCH ran a $400 like main event tournament to sort of wrap everything up. Had 50 entries, got the prize pool up like $17,000, $18,000.
Nice.
And it was a bit of a turbo structure, but it was a really good turnout, a lot of fun, and I was very fortunate to make a good run. Went out in 4th place. And yeah, it was just
you got 4th?
Pretty awesome. Yeah, 4th place in that main event there.
Wow, crusher.
Instead of standing, you get like a button. And when you win a hand, you get
ZeeFish here flopping a set. This board super connected and coordinated. Gets even more so here on the end, but ZeeFish on the set of 9s is still best. Nobody taking a stab at this.
I got trips.
No.
Yeah, set.
Get rid of it before the game's over. Yeah.
Checks through one final time. Everybody turns over their hands. ZeeFish
What
is
you want me to
best.
do with it? And you said that's the worst
And
flop.
ZeeFish makes $22, flopping a set of 9s.
God damn. ZeeFish?
I know, man. I know. I'm suicidal.
Oh, you can tell. He was like, no, please
That's
load up.
some 4-line boards are scary.
Again, I know I've said this a lot. This has a makeup for a really intense, high-stakes game with like massive pots. These guys are just getting warmed up, and who knows if maybe some beverages start flowing. These guys are not miffed by any stretch of the imagination, so I think we're on the verge of some huge ones. So stand by, folks. Plenty more poker to come. we're only just getting started.
Yeah, absolutely right. You can see, I mean, just well over 100,000 on the table here. So, as you say, definitely setting the stage. And I do understand that we've got knit buttons to play some knit game. For anybody who is familiar with that here around Texas, that is formerly known as the stand-up game.
There might be an extra. I think we only have. Yeah, there's only like
Pretty
7 or
fun
so.
little side game that gets the juices flowing.
Green.
So we'll hopefully get that going here later on in the broadcast if I'm understanding the players' desire to do so. All right, heads up to a flop we go. Moneymaker versus Yacht Club. Yacht Club with the pre-flop lead.
No, if you leave the table, you might want to press it. Oh. So it doesn't record you.
Pretty good board for the pre-flop aggressor, and he will continue.
Yeah.
And ace-8 into the muck. Best hand
Like, you
folds,
can-
and
you
Yacht
can
Club
click it
takes it down.
on your shirt if you want.
Thank you, appreciate you.
So as of hand number 17,
you,
only
sir.
2 players in the black here. Paolo, the biggest
Put
winner
that one
so
on your,
far.
collar, like George.
But really no big losers either. Been a lot of small pots here.
Yeah, pretty straightforward poker so far. We just need a couple cooler situations to come up to make things interesting. Let's go.
Yeah, I remember a couple weeks ago, the before the cruise, right? We were just watching like pocket kings, pocket queens come out left and right, and just heaps of chips going in the middle. Tonight, a lot more subdued, and it's always interesting. You look at a microcosm of a few dozen hands, 100 hands, maybe 120 over the course of a broadcast, and it's just really not very many.
Right.
So it's unusual, honestly, when you go, really hard one way or the other. A bunch of really good hands or a bunch of trash all night long. So see how the night develops.
When you're in the moment, though, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like you've had an eternity of no cards.
Bring it over. We take a picture.
When you're just absolutely running dry. It comes queens and 8s for dong.
Either way.
Better idea.
6.
Dong check calls flop, then leads out on the turn. Doesn't want to let his opponent check back, and understandably so with the 2 pair, but does not get any additional value.
She brought that Coke.
Alice Acuna joining us here in the chat. What's going on? Welcome.
What's up?
I'll just get a couple ice to drink the warm one.
So any surprises about the cruise or anything that you weren't expecting that you were pleasantly surprised? Food or bevs or experiences off ship?
Good stuff.
Let's see. So the food was fantastic. So it was a Royal Caribbean cruise, and talking with other people that have done multiple cruises. There's always a conversation about between Carnival and Princess and Norwegian, and who has the better food or the better atmosphere or whatever. So this is a conversation that apparently people have quite frequently. So I got a lot of different opinions about what people thought. Certainly, Royal Caribbean has a very good reputation, and in my opinion, rightfully so, because the food was fantastic, the staff were really just top-notch, and there was really nothing about the cruise as far as the presentation and everything that Royal Caribbean put on for us that I would have changed. Aside from perhaps disembarking, it was a little bit of a hectic kind of situation with everybody trying to get off the boat at the same time.
Yeah,
We got there a little bit early, and everybody had their assigned times, but it wasn't really clearly communicated when you were supposed to go to your little muster station and everything. So aside from that, everything went super smoothly.
That's great.
Drinks were pretty great. I mean, it was really easy to go and get your drinks when you had your all-included situation. So you just showed up at any of the little bars around any of the different spots on the ship, show them your card, and get whatever
awesome.
drink you wanted. So that was great. And probably the best part of the whole experience, though, for me was that I met a lovely lady on the beach there in Roatan.
Really?
Yes, I did. She lives here in Texas, so Maybe the beginnings of a budding relationship, but you know. We
Now
shall see.
that is a change to the plot that we weren't expecting.
Indeed.
That's really cool.
Yeah, very cool indeed.
And very cool flop to continue the conversation. Top pair, good kicker, dong. Pair and nut flush draw for George. Straight flush draw for JD. A 10 high flushy flop with a redraw to the straight flush. Man, that's great to hear. Excited that you were able to kindle some new interests.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, here, bet a 250 call. George goes for the raise. JD with a little bit of a decision here. The problem for him is if he does go for the third bet, he really strongly defines his hand for his opponent. And you never really want to do that if you can avoid it. So, does just make the call here. Harmless 9 of clubs. And George going to continue for another bet here. A little over half pot, not quite 2/3, I believe.
JD loves this. Chunky bet on turn. You're sitting there with the 10 high flush. And that's like a click. No, it's a call. Excuse me.
Yeah, again, raising now really defines his hand. So he's kind of handcuffed into a spot where he just can call down. The other side of the coin, of course, is that he could just be behind. 10 high flush, very strong hand. He's not at all worried about putting more chips in the middle, but you do have to tread cautiously. Small bet here from George on the end, just under half pot. Looks really value-y, but at the same time, also sort of screams like this could be a hand more like a straight or whatever. JD thinks about it for a brief moment about whether or not he can raise this hand, but does just elect on the call, and I think that's the safe and prudent play.
$12,000 pot after George. You don't blame him. You've got the world until the river. You don't just want to roll over when you brick off your flush draw.
Not scared, boys. Not scared. Think about jamming. Think about jamming.
What is it, man? Hey, give him the nip bond.
Yeah, so George there with a little bit of a tough spot. I guess one way that I would think about it is if he did have the nut flush, like let's say he had ace-8 of hearts, for example, or ace-3 of hearts, whatever. Because I think maybe the 8 was out there, right? So let's say he does have the nut flush. Is he going to bet small like that? Or is he going to bet big and try to get more value? And then, you know, consequently, what is he doing with his bluffs there with the nut blocker? Yeah, I don't know. All of that is sort of player independent, or player dependent rather. But certainly I think that the natural tendency will be for most players with, you know, just the stone nuts to go for the bigger bet, the more polarizing bet. And then also couple that in the same way with their bluffs. But it's always good to zig and zag, so mixing it up there is George just can't get it through on JD.
Wow, what a turn. George rewarded, turning sixes full. Unfortunately, not much for anyone else. Yacht Club pairs the case 6, but that is not going to do it. George, a little bit of a rebate on the previous hand, but not enough. As he's losing about 6K after the big pot versus JD, and surprise, surprise, JD's up half a stack. Almost an hour in. This man probably has quite the time at tax season, or during tax season.
Got to love it.
JD, Jack 9 suited. Raising it up to 250. Brian Green, first one of the night. Here we go. This is what we were waiting for. Now George, 3 pots in a row. 2 9s. Cold call.
Yeah, generally not recommended. However, given JD's exact holdings, he is, of course, just going to complete and make the call here, play man in the middle with the Jack 9 suited.
Interesting.
Cards for George's nines, but he is still in the lead. Double
JD.
gutty for JD.
That's right. Brian Green is one of those types of guys that is not afraid to c-bet in any situation where he feels like he's either got the perceived advantage or can just abuse people that are just going to fold too much. This might not be one of those spots.
Yeah, it's a relatively big bet going multi-way, but JD here with the backdoor diamonds and the 8 immediate outs, of course, not going anywhere. Deuce of hearts, the worst card in the deck for him. Let's see how Brian approaches this turn with just about 6K in the middle. Generally speaking, you'll see a size up to 2/3 or perhaps even a larger bet here. But Brian is going to keep it small and juicy. Half pot is the wager.
$3,400, $9,200 in the pot, and JD gets out of the way. Show the 6. Oh, he shows to both of them.
Ace high good.
Ace high good.
The value bet gets the fold, and he takes down the pot. JD there, of course, you know, some people will say, you know, you've still got the double gutty. Why not take off a river? Problem is that whenever you call out of position, it's just so hard to ever get paid on your hand. Like, let's say that he does improve to a straight. Then what does he do? He just has to lead because now the board looks pretty connected.
And super strong.
His opponent is just going to check back a ton of hands that he would want to try to get value from. So then you just have to lead the river, and that looks super fishy. So, yeah, it's a tough spot to be in there with Jack.
Kings for Kyle Z, first hand of the night. JD. Dong's in there with the 9-6 suited.
A little malfunction will happen.
I think they're having a lot of problems today anyway.
Show my hand as being a bad hand. Like,
Top pair for Dong. Mega overpair for Kyle Z. Pink chips $500.
Jack hires.
I think they're having a little problems today anyway.
Dong, a little stare down trying to get a read. 4 spades. Kyle Z might look to get cute, and he does, checking it over to Dong, which is going to induce strange size bet to me. I just don't understand it. It might not be strange. I just don't understand it. 700. Quick call from Kyle Z. So now what do you do? Do you lead? Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, Dong betting the turn there sort of earns himself this cheap showdown.
Savvy check back by Dong.
Yeah, well, it's tough to imagine what you can get value from. You have the 6, so you know you kind of block some of your opponent's just random straight draws, and then the fact that Kyle Z didn't continue betting on the turn really sort of indicates that he isn't playing a draw. So it's like maybe pocket 5s or something if you bet just the right amount could possibly find a call, but it's just such a thin range of hands that you're going to get called by that you beat. It just really doesn't make a lot of sense to bet through. So I think Dong really played that one well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And he's rewarded 2 kings for Dong now after Moneymaker opened at 250. He's queen. Paolo 2 9s. Let's go.
Dong, though not raising, is inviting this massive calling session.
Here we go. This is what he wanted.
There it is, yeah. ZeeFish gonna step in it here. Ace Jack, can't fault him. Looks like a bunch of weak hands out there, so he'll pounce on this. And now Moneymaker. Is going to call. And presumably in his mind, he's thinking this is just going to be a cascade of calls and perhaps a smattering of folds behind, as he's really setting the price for all these players, you know, to just be calls.
This is such a great result for Dong, taking the risk, just calling. Now gets to back raise in a bloated pot.
He likes flip action, Brian. He does like.
Yeah, this is pretty weird. And honestly, if this does just fold all the way back to Moneymaker, he may just squint at this and be like, this just doesn't make any sense, and go with the ace-queen. I think ZeeFish here is going to begrudgingly release his hand, but
He doesn't look happy about it.
it also doesn't look normal to ZeeFish, though, right? And the fact that Moneymaker just calls with all those players behind really sort of defines Moneymaker's hand as not top of range as well. So ZeeFish here could reasonably assume that his hand is just good, or perhaps just super live with 2 overs if Dong is ever doing this with like pocket 7s or something. But yeah, you just kind of have to let that one go, I think. Does settle on that decision. And now back to Moneymaker. He's only got 8,000. And yeah, he is just going to go with this and ship it.
All in,
didn't really
and a
take any
call.
time for that decision. He'd already made
Yeah.
up his mind what was gonna happen.
Here we go. $20,000 pot. German Moneymaker versus Dong.
I'm pulling for it.
Ace Queen versus Kings, and top set, but a little life for Moneymaker. A Jack of Hearts for a sweat. 3 of clubs on the turn. Needs a Jack and a Jack alone. Full house for Dong. Wow.
I did good. I did good. Yeah, I flopped it straight.
Well, you're right. Ace Jack flops the straight there. Wow.
Yeah, so if ZeeFish did find a way to somehow see that flop, he
Man.
definitely would have lost all of his chips as well. So tough spot there for Moneymaker, gets his chips in behind, out flopped, and his opponent holds. So stuck 10K now, and down the most is Moneymaker after hand number 23.
I mean, going back to maybe the thought process here, do you think Moneymaker just felt like Dong's doing that enough times with middling pairs or suited connectors that Ace Queen is?
That's it.
It feels like a lot to ship over a back raise 4 bet with Ace Queen off. I don't know.
Did you have some too?
Well, so shipping it in with Ace Queen off is never really like the worst idea in the world, because you do have good blocking sort of qualities of the hand, right? Like you're really only ever just completely crushed by pocket aces. You know, you hate to be up against pocket kings or ace king, of course, but you still have 30% equity against that, so it's not the worst thing in the world. The weird thing about that hand is when Dong just calls and then back raises into all those players that have also called, like, it's just a play that doesn't happen very often, and I presume that there's, you know, plenty of experience between Moneymaker, Dong, and a bunch of the players at this table, right? So they're all probably aware of each other's tendencies. And if Dong is buying in for, you know, 50,000, 60,000 and covering the table, it's presumably to sort of push people around and kind of exert some power. So, you know, I think Moneymaker could be well within his rights and perhaps his experience to just be like, you know what, Ace Queen, totally good enough here, even if I am on a 30%er, not the end of the world.
Yeah, cool. And again, like, Moneymaker absolutely knows what he's doing in this game. Just maybe for us at home to try to understand some of the thought process there is always helpful.
Yeah, and you also have to remember all of the dead money that went in. A lot of times we can forget just how big the pot is from all of that dead money and just focus on the bet sizes themselves.
Sure.
Very often we do see it's just like this player opens, this player raises, everyone else is out of the way, and then the other player calls. And so, like, it's just, the entire pot is just those 2 bets. But here we had this open, call, the squeeze, Moneymaker calls, then the raise, and everybody folds. So there's just thousands of dollars in there as dead money as well, which is greatly going to influence your play as Moneymaker. And given the fact that he had 8,000 to start the hand or whatever it was, and you know, there's already 4 in the middle by the time he rips it in. Or even more than that. I mean, yeah, to me, it's not a bad play at all.
I had my eyes checked in.
Check raise with air from Brian Green on an ace-sided board.
So, like, I don't go regularly. I just go like, and every 5 years, like, I guess I should go check the receipt, you know?
That's good that you don't work
This might be Brian Green testing the waters himself, too, against Yacht Club.
Last time, maybe I need them now.
Not a good turn card for Brian to continue blasting, at least in terms of additional equity. So he is going to check now.
Yeah, but like I'm like slightly off now, but like not enough.
Yacht Club will keep the
bother,
pot
like, giving me, like,
to a relatively manageable
He probably has
size.
terrible vision. He's just been lying to himself this whole time. I have perfect vision.
Nobody.
That would make a lot of sense.
Absolutely
Yeah,
perfect.
the flush misses. There's really not a whole lot else out there. If Brian was ever doing this with 2 pair on the flop, you'd have to imagine that he's going to keep his foot on the gas.
Okay, that's actually what
So why would he check turn and then start betting the 2 pair on the river?
10 years.
Really a tough story
I
to
sit on the
sell
far
here.
end and like it would be like hard to read like across the table.
How far are you off now?
But he's going to
So
anyway.
again, I haven't been. That's what I'm saying. I haven't gone to check up and.
Let's see how Yacht Club feels about this. I mean, his 6 is kicking, but it's not an inspiring card.
I mean, I don't know.
I have to do it
I've
quick.
been so lazy with it for 10 years
Me
now.
too. Me too. But for the longest time, I was paranoid that I was like, I never want to do any sort of procedure on my eyes.
Yeah,
But, like,
if they mess up, it's a big mess up, right?
but I think now it's pretty safe enough, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. See, that's what I've heard from everyone that does it.
Yeah, it would be nice not to worry about glasses.
I'm sure it's like beyond safe.
That's what I'm saying, Kyle. Like I've never had glasses. Like they're never even been bad enough to give me a prescription.
I just wanted an excuse to make fun of you.
Well, you said if they're bad, would I get laser eye surgery?
Oh, yeah, right.
I
Yeah,
don't
we
even
moved
know.
on. Sorry. Right.
I don't even know. Like
All right, Yacht Club is going to find the call. Takes down the pot there with the pair of aces. Just kind of a strange line, and I think Brian really could have gotten that one through if he had perhaps, bet half pot or something on the turn and then gone for the river jam. But
Yeah, if you're targeting just one pair, that's
yeah,
fine.
just the
It's when you start going like
the hand characteristics with the king 5 of hearts
Plus,
there
it's a smaller boat.
did have 2 backdoor opportunities that did not come about. So I can sort of understand the idea and then why he would shut it down on the turn. But yeah, just one of those low probability sort of plays and doesn't get it through. I do think that once you check the turn, you just kind of have to be completely done with the hand, in my opinion. But also, mad credit there to Brian for going for it. And, if you keep your opponents on your toes by doing things like that as bluffs, and then you do it also with value, I mean, you can definitely put people through the ring.
When they talk about like no, like, so then all of a sudden I was like, man, the guys who need like glasses must be like really bad.
Top 2 for Paolo. Dong here with a gut shot to the nuts. He's not going anywhere.
I can't read if I don't have my glasses.
Yeah.
Boat right away for Paolo. Sheesh.
And
What a
plus it
hand.
gives me a headache as well because like otherwise you have to concentrate so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you own this board so hard, you just have to hope that your opponent has an ace somehow, some way. Dong here does go for another check call and does dodge the 10 ball on the end, as that would have gotten him into a very tough predicament. Quick bet here from Paolo on the end. Reaches for 1,300, fires it out there very quickly. So 2/3 sizing.
I went in today at
Dong
like
with just no pair.
4 hours. I mean, nobody said anything. I've been doing it for like 3 weeks. Yeah.
Talk to that one dude.
I have like there's like a lunch crew I used to go to lunch with, but like I haven't made it to lunch in like a month.
Dong gonna think this one through, not just
That's usually where I used to
releasing.
start back in the day when I was actually.
He does have some
They
sort
would
of
go to lunch
blocking
early. They go to lunch
candidates
like
in,
11.
as far
So
as
usually
his
I'd roll in at like
opponents'
10:30. And then like
queens.
11 they'd roll out, we go to lunch, and then I
Kind
come
of
in
tough
and
to
I'd
think
actually
of
work,
other hands that would just continue betting like this. So
But no, I come in for a few hours.
does
They haven't
think
said
it
anything,
through,
so we'll
does
see.
let it go.
Nice hand for Paolo.
Mo the Cat here in the chat
canceled our
says
101
you didn't
for
like
last
the
one.
original
Should've been
call
in the
out of
office.
position
Like,
with
oh,
the, for
yeah, that's
1.2K by Moneymaker with the ace queen, and then that led to him pricing himself in. I mean, yes, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and it is always kind of a tricky spot there. You either think about just like folding or re-raising there more often than not, but what you see, given that configuration, the dynamic there, most of the time, I would say, is that if you call, everyone else just calls. And so then, yes, you're out of position, but you really only had to put in like 1,100 more, whatever it was, into a pot that's going to go up to like 6,000 when everybody calls. And you're going to get to check, and we'll let everybody else act. And if you do happen to flop the joint or something, you know, it comes queen, queen, 3, or you get the glorious ace, king, jack, or sorry, king, jack, 10 or whatever. You know, it's a spot where you can get paid a lot of money, and I think I understand the thought process, and I think it, generally speaking, was pretty well played by all players involved.
A little bit of battle there between ZeeFish and JD. Going to raise, re-raise, re-raise.
He would have lost that hand anyway.
Not on the flop, man.
He was never folding.
I don't know where he's at.
Look at the V-pips there. Dong being very active. George as well. So playing a lot of hands between those two players.
Yeah, Dong, as expected. Voluntarily putting a lot of money in the pot. JD, ace, queen suited. Pretty easy to put money in the pot with a hand like that. Ryan Green, a little straight flush draw.
Ryan's got a lot of heart, that is for sure. 5 deuce suited here. Out of the small blind.
But his parents spelled George.
He loves to take the betting lead away, maintain pressure.
Yeah.
That's what can make it hard to play against him. As it comes really nice for JD. Top pair, top kicker, Broadway draw.
Is that a real player?
Checks over to JD.
No further damage to Brian, but does have to release his hand. JD will take that one down. If you look at the earnings here, as of hand number 28, Dong Yacht Club up over 5K. Paolo a little under 4,000. Moneymaker taking the biggest hit so far. And George here, who has stepped away from the table momentarily, stuck a little over 7,000.
See him going the wrong way. Coming back.
So any new developments with you in the last couple of weeks here?
Nothing interesting. Well, no. I mean, we had a good Easter this past weekend. I smoked some pork butt and ribs on the pellet grill. I had both sets of parents in town, and our son thankfully entertained everyone, and so pretty low lift for us as the hosts, other than making the food. So that was fun. And the weather's been amazing here in Dallas. I don't know about Austin, but at least for the weekend, it was like perfection. And so we spent a lot of time outside and had a great time, just really just chilling, watching my son do his first Easter egg hunt, and he loved that. And so that's doesn't matter. Like, nobody cares since it's not your kid, but when it's your kid, it's very fun to watch them experience things for the first time like that. So that was really cool for us.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. Well, good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. Not much poker to be played, though, unfortunately. I'm really trying to stock up my marriage tokens to get a few sessions in here in a few months. Who knows? We'll see when the baby comes.
Well, I wish you the best of luck in that department.
Thank you. Thank you.
ZeeFish here going to continue betting with the ace-queen high. It's the best hand, and Brian will let his
every time you take a break and then start
Jack
messaging
10
me on
go.
the group app and stuff, I would come meet him. He was just like, yeah, it's a little too much.
Yeah, I love to do smoking and grilling myself.
Ooh,
so unfortunately, I live in an apartment right now, and had to get rid of my smoker when I moved out of my last house.
That hurts.
It really does, because man, I definitely didn't have a top of the line smoker.
Sure.
You know, the pellet feed ones are pretty awesome from what I understand. I haven't used one myself, but a lot of hands off, just sort of set it and forget it kind of mentality, which is very cool. So in that respect, maybe it's a good thing that I get to sort of reset my my smoker when I do actually have a place that I can keep one. But
and you were using a charcoal smoke, like a traditional smoker beforehand?
No, it was a natural gas with just a
That's
wood box.
interesting, eh?
Oh, okay, cool. Like a
Yeah.
like a vertical type deal, like a cabinet.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah,
Didn't
great.
like it, and he's like, well, I can
Man,
do
yeah,
it.
those meats once they're smoking for
every hand, like
6 to 10 hours, that's the
like max
best.
tank because they're fully like 4 hours.
Yeah, well, what I ended up doing was I put my my pork shoulder in the night before, you know, put it in at like 10 p.m., something like that, and then blow and slow
200.
that thing all night long and
Yeah.
well into
Oh,
the
'cause
next
he's
day,
like
take it
blocking
out in the
up the way.
afternoon, and let it rest, and then have some for dinner the next day.
It's amazing. Yeah, the rest is and everybody's gonna get mad that we're not talking about poker, but the rest is the thing that people negate, and I did for a long time too. But that really is a game changer. If you let it rest the amount of time that it needs, the meat is so much better from my perspective. It's something to not skip, even though it's hard when when you take it off the smoker after 10 hours and it smells amazing. You just want to cut into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So quick heads up here, we do have a little bit of a card read error and some graphical issues on this hand. We do have the chip counts, everything updated correctly from what I understand after this hand. So, you know, don't worry, didn't miss out on too much, just had a little bit of issues there. And Adrian in the chat, pay attention to the hand. Well, we knew that this was a hand that we had issues with, so perfect time to talk about smoking meats. Anyways, should have everything sorted out here momentarily. And we'll get right back into the action here with Kyle Z, waking up with Ace King, first act.
There's always one deviation from the subject matter at hand. We get the pitchforks come out.
That's all right.
What time does this game start?
All right, Kyle Z gonna just take that one down easy peasy.
4 hours.
Yeah, so it'll be like 10.
Fat Bob Records on Twitch asks, "Is it Chris Moneymaker?" It is a Chris Moneymaker, but it's not. Well, depending on who you ask, it's not the 2003 WSOP main event champ Chris Moneymaker. It's our very own German Chris Moneymaker, who is a cash game legend in his own right.
Not really, George.
I don't know. Where do you go?
I had to go to all about that downtown. Nothing. Everything closed after.
Where do I go? After.
Oh, you're actually.
Usually we just keep playing and then we just order whatever is open, but there's not a lot of options.
What time is North
maybe not
Italia
Denny,
open
it's
to?
really like- North Italia on Tuesday is only open till 10.
Dong,
Open till
ace
11
4,
on Friday, Saturday or something. Thursday,
250.
Friday, Saturday. Yeah, tonight we
Hijack,
just
Yacht
order
Club. Once again, King Queen,
Hawaiian Bros.
Hawaiian Bros is like, alright.
beneficiary of Dong's.
Oh yes, there is
No,
actually.
of
It's a
Brian
Yama, a
Green's
restaurant called
aggression
Yama in
earlier.
Carrollton. It's open till 2 a.m. And they have
Yeah,
sushi,
Yacht Club
ramen,
here showing
15
good
minutes.
solid consistency here in his 3-bets and with his sizing, going to 3x here, willing to play out of position
But it actually is, even for getting, it's pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
as long as he
It's
can
open
keep
till
the
2?
pot relatively small.
Edison always goes to
Sushi,
places.
But
ramen,
Dong
skewers.
here is going
Edison always
to
ends up going to
re-raise.
places like late at night. You know Edison at all? Edison. Fire
And
knows
for a
some
big
places.
size
he always
as
ends up going
well.
to like late night places that Asian places that I
This
don't know.
is
some
over a
gizzards at
3x
midnight.
size, and he's in position, so this really doesn't make a ton of sense,
Yeah.
but the King
Yeah,
Queen
yeah.
just going to be too weak to continue.
It's not good when you Uber eat it, in my opinion. But like to go there.
Generally speaking, when you do go into 4-bet territory,
A lot of things get spoiled.
you don't need to raise very large because your hand strength is just generally going to be much stronger, and you're happy to have your opponent play out
Well,
of
there's
position
one
against
open
you.
till midnight.
So that's sort of the rationale for
Oreos,
going with
Korean
the
barbecue.
smaller sizes in position,
It's
especially
actually
on
pretty good. They have a
4-bets.
charcoal grill.
But no matter how you slice it there, King Queen off just really can't do anything when faced with the raise.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dong always a fun player to watch, especially it's just cool to see somebody that sits down with so much cash and it puts it to work. Yacht Club with a very appealing Queen Jack suited
Houston. Oh,
on the button.
really good aces. Too.
Moneymaker. A little better, Ace King.
Yeah, facing the button open here from Yacht Club is going to raise it up, and he'll choose a more traditional size from out of position. Goes with the 4X. And wow, Yacht Club just lays it down. Queen Jack suited, not good enough.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong there, I think, with folding a Queen Jack, but you know, you're playing against a strong battling opponent who is going to 3-bet you with hands like Ace 5 and pocket 7s, pocket 8s, pocket 9s, right? Like Queen Jack suited is going to perform quite well against those hands, and isn't going to perform poorly against even the Ace Kings of the world and such. So really a little bit surprised to see that, but Yacht Club not interested in tangling.
Big bet for the game, Paolo. Jesus Christ. Man.
I don't understand. The guy went from dunking on him to defending on him.
What's your name?
Chris.
Chris, yeah, Chris.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I did. I did.
He's like, what? That's all? And you're like,
A walk.
Yeah, looks like a
I
walk.
was an apologist.
I was enjoying. I was actually, what I was doing was I was enjoying the fact that he was squirming. I wasn't like trying to dunk on Chris.
How many Texas car house in Texas?
how many?
5.
All right, so here's a question for you. When you do your pork shoulder,
4, 5.
do you make your own rub, or do you do
No, I need to post one. I need
injection?
to
Like,
know.
what's your style?
I've never delved into the injection game. I considered it, and but I've never done it. It just seems too advanced for me for now. I do mustard, and then I use Meat Church. Most of them I'll use Meat Church's Holy Gospel rub. It's this shop in Waxahachie that's pretty well known for their rubs. And so that's instead of reinventing the wheel, that's just what I use every time, and it usually comes out great. So I'm a big fan of what Meat Church puts out.
What's the beach?
Okay.
What about you?
South Padre.
Let's see here. I'll come back to that here in just a second, as we've got Moneymaker putting in the third bet here from the big blind, King Queen O. JD opening from the button.
I liked it a lot, but I was
8-6 suited.
I don't know, man. By a long shot. It has like
I think he can definitely call or fold here,
So you like
That's really cool.
the waves like crash like way
and
out
he
there.
will make the call. It's
Let's
nice
go.
to have some of these suited one-gappers in your calling range.
Just kind of peaceful.
You'll be able to improve to some strong hands that your opponent really won't put you on.
Moneymaker flops great. Top pair with a king.
Rio Grande can't have that much.
I saw it on I saw on Instagram of a grand opening, the one in Westheimer. So I don't know, it's a one-day shot.
And this is the worst flop imaginable for JD. He's got the 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Not this flop,
They're gonna have a stream as well.
and he'll let it go.
Yeah, I don't play Houston. I come out.
Dong still crushing the game for 9,000.
You don't play there?
Moneymaker and George at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I don't blame you either.
My friend, they had to wear a bulletproof
Yeah.
jacket to play. I don't play that.
Yeah.
Frank rolling a 1. Sorry, buddy.
Ouch.
They wear bulletproof jacket. Just
But yeah, I usually do a dry rub,
Legends.
and typically I've just sort of created one myself. Use a variety of different spices to kind of see whatever I'm feeling in the mood for. But yeah, most of the time, whatever I've come up with has left me with a really nice bark on the outside. That when I sort of pull it all up and shred it in, you get that nice sort of mixture of
Yes.
the bark, the fat, the meat, and everything just kind of gelling together.
Love it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to over-season it. It's one of those cooks that is really hard to screw up, just from a seasoning perspective.
Absolutely.
Top pair for ZeeFish and bet no fold.
Yeah, I think the thing that I've had the toughest time doing in the smoker is ribs. I've just not really gotten maybe it was the cut of meats that I've gotten or whatever, but I just feel like they just didn't turn out quite the way that I wanted them to. But I also didn't do multiple iterations on it. I just did it a couple of times. It didn't really turn out great, so I kind of gave up on it and went down the pork shoulder and brisket route. But
Yeah. Brisket's a tough one because it's like an investment in time and money. And so I don't have chicken and the egg. Like I don't feel like I'm experienced enough to invest money in like a good brisket. I'll buy like from the grocery store, but we have a couple butcher shops here that I'd really like to try, like the really nice ones. But it's like $200, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, it's a special occasion kind of thing. For
Yeah.
sure.
Let's see one guy just elbow me.
All right, Kyle's going to raise this up. King 9 suited in the cutoff. Dong here. 3-piece from the big blind with the ace 10 suited.
So that's it. That was
And Kyle Z here not going anywhere. So heads up to a flop we go. Dong with the betting lead out of position.
Straight draw, backdoor spades, Kyle Z, Dong's like a pair.
Too much.
well, the game is good though. It was a Chinatown game.
Chinatown game.
So they're very good. And sometimes you don't know like what's going on. You can't understand the
When
enemy.
Dong checks there with the second pair, Kyle Z goes for the big bet. I like that.
Figure out, is that a friendly poke,
Oftentimes
or
when
is
the
that
betting
hostile
leader
poke?
sort of
Should I
checks
get
over
out
to you,
here?
that indicates that they are not
But the game's good.
at the top of their range, and you can hammer that with the big bet. Kyle Z does not pick up any additional equity on the turn, but does river the best hand pair of kings with 4 diamonds on board. And Dong is going to turn his 10
Yeah, the
into a
fish game
bluff
there,
here.
right? The fish game.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, they used to have a fish game.
They used to have a fish
that's
game?
not bad.
That's a little over half pot here, and presumably is targeting a queen.
Stack 100 and then feed it to a fish, and the table got pissed off. Like you just hit and run, and so you give it to that machine.
Players got that.
Gonna try to get queen jack to fold.
They had the fish table outside the poker room.
Fish game is like
Kyle
And
Z.
gets the king to fold, my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, fish machine, right? So the guy cashed out and defeated $100.
Trying to figure that out.
Yeah, certainly not the best spot in the world to make the hero call there with the king 9. But
Yeah, it's basically a guessing game. It's Dong taking the initiative there to say, all right, I'm going to represent the flush. Maybe sometimes he gets raised there, but got to fold.
yeah, I mean, this is the beauty of having an unorthodox style that Dong is implementing here, right? He just makes the call earlier with the kings, then goes for the back raise. Like, people just don't see that very often. Now here he is checking flop, calling turn, leading river. I mean, a lot of plays that you just see at a very low frequency. But if he is implementing this consistently,
Always one.
he's going to put his opponents in a very difficult spot to navigate. That is for
The
sure.
game was
I'd
good
love
to
to see it.
start today.
It was good. It was good until about 4 p.m.
Where you were playing, right?
Good. I got different skills
You
for
didn't think
open games, man.
Top pair for Yacht Club.
Open games, you got to slide the scale a little bit.
Yeah. Especially in these times.
Yeah. In these
These
times.
perilous times.
I always knew you were a novelist.
A little bit more smoker talk here in the chat between Mark Wee and Poker Monkey. Mark suggesting get a digital temperature probe. Yeah, well, as soon as I got mine, or as soon as I got my smoker, I invested in one of those and had the little remote, that I could sort of keep an eye on it from in the house. The nice thing about those pellet smokers, or some of the other more high-tech versions than what I had, of course, is that you could dial in the temperature from your phone and it'll hold it.
Yeah.
Mine, you had to go out and manually adjust the knob to adjust the propane flow, and that was pretty frustrating when it was windy out.
Right.
That much.
Yours around last night.
Yeah, I've got a knockoff Traeger. It's called a Pit Boss Pro, and it's been great. You can control it from your phone, holds temp pretty well. And yeah, the pellet grills are kind of like cheating in that you can set them and forget them as long as there's enough pellets
Game that
there.
went all the way last night.
It's awesome. It's just to not, because I came from a charcoal smoker, and I wasted so much time nursing a fire. And by the time you're done, it's like, I don't even care about this piece of meat anymore.
Wow, middle of the deck here, heavily represented. Some Broadway cards as well.
5-way action.
Wow, King, Queen, 5 flop. A little bit of something for everybody here, minus Brian Green, who is the only player that has really, truly whipped this. I suppose ZeeFish has
ZeeFish,
been
yeah.
pretty hard too. Just backdoor.
It's probably the right thing to do. was like just this Mr. Emma and didn't know the guy on C. But I played with him like 2-5 for like 2 hours and he didn't play a hand. I said, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't even know why they were playing. Even my buddy was like, why are they playing
I
this?
think
And
George,
George here with a gut shot to
George
the
what?
nizzles. He's
Like
going to go ahead and make the call.
I
And
think he was just like, let's go, and then they just
Queen 9 going to shrivel up a little bit here, but does have the backdoor hearts working, so might consider coming along for
I'll tell you
this
why, because
small
I can do it
bet and
online
does.
and gets 240 out hands an hour.
Here we go,
6
3
max.
players
Gotcha.
to a turn.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
6
I don't
of
want to
hearts.
battle. At least I'll get some volume in.
Interesting. Hearts.
And my trade-off for not doing
Hard draw for Yacht Club.
Paolo, you can't see the pain on the person's face on the other end of the screen. You know, I mean, watch it.
And I think it's a lot more. You never card dead. I can't play that much.
Checks through, free
So
card
much
here,
action, right?
no one
Like,
improved, so
trade-off
Yacht
for
Club
that
and the
play
pair
line
of
is the game has
queens
to be good.
is
So that's why
going
I'll
to finish
never
as
say
the
that,
best
like,
hand if we get to showdown.
Fine, Paolo, fine. Just me and you battle.
George
That's
not
a
going to
juicy
take
game,
a
right?
stab at this. Neither is Yacht Club and JD here, just with the jack high. Let's see if he wants to go for a bet here.
You're the Kyle.
But he isn't. He says, you know, I'm just going to get called probably too often to go for the bluff, and Yacht Club takes it down.
I was going for a
Poker Monkey says he uses a combo of charcoal, mesquite wood, and some pellets, and then also uses mustard to hold his dry rub on
There you go.
to the pork butt. So yeah, nice.
People always weird out about the mustard if they haven't done it, and it's really just a binder. It doesn't, you don't taste any mustard during or after the complete cook. But it feels weird to just douse a huge piece of meat in mustard.
You
But
guys need jobs.
for whatever reason, it works.
You know? Right? They need jobs. Gossip's key to
A couple of jacks here for Moneymaker. Takes it up to 250. Paolo just going to call on the button here with the suited connector. Sometimes you'll see that sort of hand class used as a raise to a little bit more board coverage in your 3-betting range. But this is going to invite JD and Yacht Club along, so we'll go 4 players to a flop. And bingo here for Yacht Club. Overpair still for Moneymaker, and a fairly safe-looking board, all things considered.
Paolo
Could be
top
dangerous.
pair with a 9. Let's go. Bingo, bango, bongo. Mark Weiss says he's cooked 16 hours straight on the big green egg with 1 load of charcoal. That's pretty sweet
Girl, you need a job. How about that?
and very hard to do on a cheap smoker.
I don't think that's necessary. It's not for you, Kyle. It's for me.
Moneymaker continues for a small size here, goes to 300. Paolo calls, and Yacht Club does
that's for the rest
indeed
of
go
us. That's
for the raise. Moneymaker can't fold, but Paolo here going to be like,
Yeah.
this doesn't feel great. So he'll let go. Heads up
1
to the
out remaining
turn.
for Moneymaker. 8 of clubs on turn.
Kyle's got girls. She's keeping them kind of busy, you know.
But like how? No, it's like perfect.
I would love it if Yacht Club actually had like 4 or 5 of clubs here and was just doing this with a bluff combo. But of course we can see that he does indeed have the 3. Moneymaker here really going to be in a pretty tough spot. It feels like
Did you ever watch the stream?
you're just always beat when you're in this spot. You go 4 ways. This guy check raises into a couple of players. Like, do you ever give him credit for a bluff? You
And
know,
what
you-
bluff? Like, just air ace deuce of clubs? I don't know.
But man, isn't that
Yeah, it'd be pretty much 4 or 5 of clubs,
Us? Yeah. Like
4 or 5 of spades. Probably doesn't, certainly doesn't continue bluffing. So it's just such a few subset of hands, and
Nice
he is
fold.
going to
Nice
let it go.
fold, Moneymaker.
edit.
Kim Stone joining us here in the chat. Hey, what's going on? Welcome
Good
to the
evening.
show.
What's up, Kimmy?
It's like when Kitty was here. She was like, French guys, you guys have so many girlfriends.
Dong up over 10K. Yacht Club closing in on the 10K mark.
Quite the spin up for Yacht Club over the last 30 minutes or so.
So she's old ZeeFish.
I did not come back.
Golly, great fold for Moneymaker. He doesn't like it.
It's like, I
But
want
he'll
to be the only
be
girl. You guys, French guys, bitch,
happy to know that he made the right decision.
Yeah, so important to know your customer. You're up against someone who is going to check raise you at a higher than average frequency. Maybe someone like Brian Green, you can think about sticking around with your jacks, sort of going to war with them there. Whereas against someone that you perceive going to play a little bit more straightforward, especially in a multi-way pot, you can make that lay down and not lose sleep over it.
Paolo taking it down with the 8-7 suited. He's generating a little win for himself as well. 3,600 up top. Brian Green, George, and Moneymaker still got plenty of work to do, losing 5, 8, and 10 respectively. Lots of poker to be played, though. We're an hour and a half in. We're here till 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below if you're watching in the future, and stick with us. Big pots inbound. It's Paolo with the 2 3s. Raises it to 500. I wonder if the 200 is on right now.
Yeah, I believe that's the case.
Oh, here we go. JD with ace queen. Floated pot. He's going to bump it to 2,100.
Hayden in the chat as well. What's going on? Welcome.
Over to Paolo facing a $1,600 raise. The 2 3s.
Get ready for once we know limit. Comment D for once we know limit.
It's always tempting to see a flop try to hit your set. You are pretty deep. But yeah, it does decide to just let that one go. JT will pick up some chips and move up just a little bit higher on the earnings leaderboard there, up 1.5.
I haven't done it. Man, this is probably the second or third time I go over there, so I'm not too familiar with.
Just
but
the
I
food
did
in New
hear-
York is
Yeah.
world famous.
Business or pleasure? Business or pleasure?
No, leisure.
V-Pips came and went with a flash, but we'll hopefully get those up here again to see what we're working with. I do know that Dong and George were leading the way earlier, up over 40% apiece. I think that has drifted down a little bit.
JD with 2 kings. Facing a raise from Dong and a call from ZeeFish.
Quick call from Dong, and ZeeFish here will play his button with the queen tray of spades. And wow, up and down straight draw here for Dong. 2 overcards. No heart, though. But JD here. First to act with the kings.
He took it away.
And he'll continue for 1/3 pot.
I know. I was thinking about the same already. Thank you. It was one of my favorites.
That's up.
10 of spades pairs the board.
Not the best card here for JD. Plenty of draws out there. You know, the queen jacks are completely unblocked by his hand. There's clubs, of which he has the king, but not the ace, so plenty of opportunities for his opponent to have some draws there as well. But certainly not a card that you can just bet at a high frequency. Even though you kind of hate to give up the betting lead and give an opponent that covers you by a wide margin the opportunity to start blasting away. So JD is going to maintain the betting lead here.
$4,300. Dong with 60,000 in his stack. And an open-ended straight draw. What he doesn't know is that the high side is blocked by his opponent's hand. 2 8s have been folded, and Dong correctly gets away from it.
I think when we watch that back, we're gonna see that was a good fold.
Kyle Z with a correct assessment.
My favorite part of playing on the stream is the Kyle reads. I love them. The Kyle reads.
Oh, yeah.
After the hand, he tries to guess if it's a bluff or not. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, bro. Got you.
You ever go check your accuracy?
No, I never. Why would I do that?
You just put it out there?
Yeah, yeah.
Why would I do that?
He's got a perfect record when he doesn't check.
Yeah. Got it every time.
Did JD just fold the king queen on the button?
You just fire your read out in the moment.
The early position raised? I guess I get it, but
Why check? Having so much fun.
Yeah, it's sort of a razor fold spot. When someone under the gun opens, you know, raising doesn't feel great. I mean,
Yeah.
you can certainly call. I don't know, but I guess JD here just gonna play that one a little bit snug.
Tournament viewers, if you've started the shuffle, complete the hand blinds are up. 400, 800, 800.
Here, the tournament
really good
director announcing the blinds going up there in the background. Of course, always a bunch of tournaments going on here at TCH Dallas.
yeah, especially popular here in Dallas. We play tournaments at all the TCH locations, but Dallas especially a very consistent schedule with full fields, breaking guarantees. If you're a tournament player, TCH Dallas is the place to play.
It was incredible.
It's in a French restaurant.
Oh, French? Oh, sorry.
What if that was him answering the only good restaurant he's ever been?
Gut shot comes in here
Man,
for
that's-
ZeeFish, giving
spoiled
him
friends,
the
eh?
nuts. Brian Green here with the spade draw and a gut shot of his own.
Peruvian and France? Is that France?
Gonna bet 325 here, ZeeFish.
Just say no.
Gonna raise this up immediately, takes it up to 1200. And
Wasn't sure.
yeah, Brian Green with a quick call. Brian out of position here, though. Going to be tough to get paid if he does hit his hand. It would be 3 to a flush and a one-liner out there should the jack have peeled off. But
Very disappointing.
did want to see that river.
People got stuck on
Doesn't get there, and now ZeeFish will go for value.
Recently?
Protests, yeah. When I was going to go in about December, January.
Very disappointing.
What, you want me to just fight through that? So I don't do that. I don't
Slight
do dangerous
overbet here,
situations.
1.3 times the pot.
Sorry.
Brian Green with the queen blocker.
I know,
What are you doing now?
I know.
Let me see. Well, usually we do the dealer changes and it's just like kind of random timing.
It's raining every day.
Presumably just
Just wait till a second.
Last thing
trying
I'm
to
gonna
figure
go
out
do is,
what
like, try to visit my
ZeeFish could have, not really
Is there
contemplating
mostly indoor?
anything other than fold here, and does let it go.
Fine. I have to do like some sort of fuck you Paolo trip or something.
I had a best Vietnamese restaurant, best Vietnamese food in Paris.
In Paris? Really?
Oh, there's a huge community out there. That's right.
It's, I don't know, just I like a lot of Vietnamese food, but I was surprised. It was a
Really?
very good.
Better than Houston? Any place in Houston?
I mean, it's something very different. It's a fusion, you know.
Oh.
It's not. Yeah.
Where's the best Vietnamese food you've ever had, Don?
It's I don't know. I was surprised that it tastes so good.
Vietnam? Alright.
There's actually
Good answer.
in Vietnam there's a lot of French influence over food as well.
Huh?
In Vietnam there's a lot of like French influence over some of their food.
Yeah. I think that's what makes it one of.
Yeah, Vietnam, a former French colony, a
This
lot of
actually has that fusion.
I think if you mix
French
together
influence
East
there.
and West, not very good.
Yeah. Like the
Couple of jacks here for Brian. Raise it up over Moneymaker's open. And Moneymaker is going to make the call here
But I mean,
The
when I-
ace-5 off, not giving Brian credit for a big hand.
My girlfriend be like, wait until you
I'm not a big
21.
fan of usually.
And a nice little flop here for Brian with the couple of jacks.
I like some of them, but just like, I don't know.
He'll bet a little under half pot, and Moneymaker is just going to have to release.
Overall, I like Vietnamese food.
I haven't tasted anything in here that
I think there's the ingredients must be like. There's like certain vegetables I think that you can't get over here that you can only get over here.
I mean, it's
YL in the chat wondering why you only have 4 points. So unfortunately, it's not just about watching. You also need to chat in the, type into the chat. You can check your points and so forth and so on. That's actually how the Streamlabs distributes points.
The faceless, nameless algorithm that
oh, sorry, it's on.
distributes loyalty points. You must be loyal to earn points.
Gotta factor in the 2000.
Oh, that duck. But Paolo,
The machine, yeah. I think there's a
Ryan Green, not many premiums tonight, but not slowing down his pre-flop raising. Queen 8 suited on the button.
It's like their restaurant. Or I don't know if that's a standalone name.
Here we go.
You know this place, Mansion Turtle Creek? It's like a high-end, like, mansion turned into a hotel.
Yeah,
and,
suited
like,
connector, raise it up here from Paolo. I like this play
just sort of uptown a little bit.
from the big blind. Brian here seemingly playing quite a wide range.
We're about to see who's got the most heart. 3-6-4 goes check check. Paolo now hitting some value.
Would have liked to have seen Paolo bet that flop, honestly. The 6-high board's going to be sort of, just irrelevant to the strength of either player's holdings very frequently. Although, of course, Brian is going to have the sets of 6s, 3s, and 4s that Paolo will not. Button range versus big blind range, both quite wide. So wouldn't have hated to see the 10-9 just continue there with 2 overs and some backdoors, but picks up the 10, bets, and wins nonetheless.
German, like, where's the taste? There's all, no taste.
George calling out the Germans for bad cuisine. We might see a brawl here on TCH Live.
You guys have just what, like bangers and mash?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not that great.
$100 straddle is on.
Shepherd's pie, bangers and mash.
That's the reason why not everywhere are German restaurants.
Very fair point from
The national dish in England is like
German native.
chicken masala, right? Yeah. National dish. I mean.
It is kind of cool, though, whenever you go to a good German place.
like consider one of their.
If they do real authentic German food, and I love the little outfits too, like the bar wench outfits and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. When I was in graduate school in Madison, very strong Czech and German influences there in Wisconsin, and so there are actually quite a few German restaurants, and yeah, it was pretty cool to go in and hang out at those places. You get the giant mugs of beer, that would hold like basically 32 ounces or something.
You have to be in the right mood.
Yeah, it's just a cool vibe.
Yeah, German restaurants admittedly aren't something that we ever think of going, but I've been to Germany a couple times, and I always enjoyed the experience. The food, I don't remember any like food sticking out particularly, but I don't remember it being bad. And on top of the beer culture, it's kind of a, they make up for it with the beer culture.
Yeah, you get the beer. A good schnitzel, right? Like you go to a good restaurant that does a really good schnitzel, like the gravies and stuff that they use.
I do enjoy schnitzel. That's gonna get clipped. I do enjoy a schnitzel.
I'm married to a Swahili.
Just trying to show the world we're cultured here, folks. We're well traveled.
It's not enough variety.
ZeeFish.
I mean, there's a
Raising,
roast pig,
JD re-raising, and here we go. Heads up to a flop.
Battle.
king high with a couple of hearts. You could see some chips go in the middle here. Both these players quite deep.
I mean, it's a
The Weird Al song, Big Bowl of Sauerkraut. If anybody out there listened to Weird Al back in the day.
Oh, hell yeah. Love me that song. Albuquerque.
I know most eggs, obviously the ones we buy.
One of my favorite songs. Of course, lived in New Mexico for 7 years off and on, so very familiar with the importance of that song to New Mexico culture.
Raised to 2,100 from ZeeFish with Pop Hair. JD with the heart draw is going to continue. 6,800 in the middle.
Did you go back for another one?
Trips for ZeeFish.
I tell you what's the weird, most exhausting.
Hey Griff, big fan of the food pod. See? Some people like it. Those are the affirmations we need. Strong continue from ZeeFish.
I wasn't, but I did it because the sauce was strong enough. Like, soak in the sauce. And it was a bet. And I won the bet because I hate the sauce.
ZeeFish here correctly sizing his bet on the turn to extract a little bit of value potentially from a hand like what JD is working with.
Oh, man.
Unlikely, but not out of the realm of possibility that JD is getting coolered with a hand like King Jack or King 10 as well.
Yeah, ice cream, glass, you say which scoop you want, but they just have centipede and scorpion on a kebab.
But now that the board pairs on the turn, JD could just be drawing dead, so he's going to let his hand go.
He's only there with 5 real outs. Wisely getting out of the way. It hurts to lose the $9,600 pot. ZeeFish stacking 3,500 in profit on hand 48. Hand 48, an hour 45 in. This guy, J-Nick, is one of a kind. This guy deals faster than anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah. There's a kind of special kind that they actually like American deals.
The only insect I've ever ate was grasshoppers. That was
grasshopper is a big.
Yeah, that was not my secret job, please.
Talking about eating grasshoppers, that's what I used to do back in elementary school to freak out my sister's friends.
Where are you from originally?
Colorado.
Colorado. Okay.
Yeah, grew up in the mountains there.
Love it.
All right, Moneymaker here, 250 to go with the ace-king. Brian Green with the queen 8 of clubs once again. Tried to make this hand work earlier. And George looks to be making a move on the button with the 7 Dewey.
Let's go.
But, perhaps
going to Italy and doing Italian food was like
the small size here going to raise a little bit of eyebrows, but Moneymaker has no choice but to continue with another raise, and he does.
George, you can't look at it.
All right, one time.
George trying to get one through and you know, have a nice cheeky win to turn over his cards and be like, haha, gotcha. But Moneymaker not going to allow that to happen with the ace-king.
I was like, I told myself, if I had that hand, I want to try that one time.
George, happily down one stack of high society. These are the guys you like playing with, where not going to sweat the small stuff, trying out some creative bluffs.
Very active lifestyle.
Raise? 500. Especially in a place like Brian, I don't know how long you spent in Madrid, but it's just such a small city. It makes sense to just walk.
Raised to 500 from Paolo. And George just pulling 10K out of the old shirt pocket.
Yacht Club getting a little frisky here on the button with the ace-8 off. Back over to Paolo here. Similar spot to where he was earlier with the pocket 3s. Out of position this time.
Yeah, there's a big open area there.
On the deuces. A little bit better price though, so this time he is going to continue. Looking for a deuce. Doesn't find one, but Yacht Club here does not improve, so the deuces are actually just best.
Yeah, I only took the train.
Larry, way out here in the chat, wants to know how the cruise was. It was fantastic, man. Had an absolute blast. Playing poker, hanging out on the beach, soaking up the sun. It was a trip to remember for sure. Looking forward to the second annual TCH cruise next year, which I very much hope they put on. And
When are you going back?
hopefully we get more and more of you fine folks from around the country and around the world to join us out on the high seas.
Yeah, bigger and better. Hopefully they learned some good lessons from putting this one on, and it'll be even better next time. Hopefully I can make it next time.
Heck yeah, man. That'd be great. You can bring the fam.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, it's like her, him, the always doing up here. And I'm like,
When are we in there?
Keep the babies occupied while Dad goes and plays poker all day and night, like a boss.
There you go.
obviously, I think
All right, after that last hand, we've got 3 players stuck just about 10K.
I like to talk too much to make someone worry.
Hand number 51 coming at you, not quite to the halfway point this evening, so on pace for over 100 hands this evening.
Everybody's game? I do know the language, but
Any Moneymakers you make the end of the stream? You want to have a real conversation.
Awesome, bro.
Get through a business deal.
it's hard to negotiate a business deal.
Yacht Club here seemingly could do no wrong tonight, has won the majority of the hands that he's played, and up a pretty penny.
Brian Green
JD.
defending the Jack Deuce.
Nice.
People watching the stream, they're like,
Whole lot of nothing here for either player, but JD with the betting lead is just going to go ahead and stab at this, and he'll get this one through. And he'll show the 7 deuce to George across the way and be like, yeah, that's how you do it.
Get it through on the easy one.
Jedi Master Ted wants to know if there are low seas as opposed to the high seas. I think there are, but you don't want to take a gigantic $1 billion cruise ship into those seas.
It's the standard cycle of abuse, buddy. That's how it works.
Joseph says, sure, low C, middle C, and high C. Yeah, I think depending on your instrument, you can get even more C's out.
Some nice music puns, music theory puns.
You're needling people wrong, JD. You're needling people wrong.
To be fair, before I even bet, he already said the people on stream are like, what the fuck is he doing calling with his hand? That's what he said.
Fake ass shit. Fake ass shit.
Joe Daddy. Joe Daddy.
1-800 Scummy Poker. Thank you.
11K winner, Yacht Club.
ScummyPoker.com.
ScummyPoker.net.
You're winning 11K, and then they ask you for time.
Someone did something in the game one time, and Don was like, where'd you learn that from? ScummyPoker.net.
He's making fun of me. He's like, some guy with like an Instagram like influencer. Like, I don't even remember who it was.
So after 4 hours over, is the game continued without pay?
If everybody
Or break?
No, we gotta play all night tonight.
the game's going until 6 a.m.
Dong always likes to play all night.
5 a.m., yeah.
That's what she said. I mean,
Nice.
LC for 2.5 limit. LC.
Nice.
all right. Brian Green here getting frisky. 3-bet the King 8 of hearts against the open from JD.
said 1,200.
Hey.
And King Jack into the mug, so Brian's going to get that one through, and he'll show at least. No, he shows them both.
You dominated.
There might be enough for revolution here. Okay, let's rebel. Do a little palace coup. Palace coup.
I mean, to be fair, that's like
No. What's
very
it?
tough.
I was like 10.
You were the one?
No.
That's right here now.
I think it's right. I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, this is right.
I was 7 deuce, and then there was a hand.
You're the 50.
Still no sight of the
I don't think Paolo messed up.
the knit game.
Oh yeah, I thought that was the whole point.
I was talking.
About
People
the-
messed up. I was trying to help you, troll you.
Well, I know we have the buttons, but I'm not sure if everyone at the table is aware that they can play the knit game, or if
Actions go.
Maybe some players have already voiced a veto. Not too sure.
He plays so good. He don't.
No, actually, I can't.
Couple of red sailboats here for ZeeFish.
Yeah, bitches. You gotcha.
He'll take a flop out of position against JD. 1800 in the middle, 10 high board, top pair for JD.
Thank you.
Even Christmas, 24/7.
Every day, 24/7.
Honestly, not the worst flop in the world for a pair of fours, so ZeeFish will go for the check call here.
Not very busy. Only a few tables.
Board getting scarier, however.
Nobody cares. Can get a little busy on New Year's.
Oh yeah, New
The
Year's.
standard play here is JD firing another bet somewhere around half pot, 40% pot maybe. Could also see him check back, and he does.
And hey man, I moved here in 2016 for a job. I thought I was going to hate it. And now I just love Dallas. I love it. What do you love about it? I don't mind
ZeeFish here going to go for the block bet.
So if you don't mind the heat,
With
we have a ton of sun.
the pocket fours here, presumably to get called by ace high or something like ace three, but yeah, that's a pretty thin little block there, and JD trolls him a little bit by waiting just a minute before he calls, or rather turns over the 10.
That's from now on. All I'm doing is my purpose is to bluff JD all night long.
You're not alone.
That's my purpose.
Good fucking luck, boys. Good fucking
He says he never folds, but he folds all the time. That's just a front. It's just a front so people won't bluff him.
I wish you boys well on your new adventure.
I don't fold.
Good fucking luck.
We felt pity for him.
It's true, yeah.
I win one session, all of a sudden all my pity's gone. What the fuck is that? I saw Kyle. I was trying to pity for the whole community. I won one session on stream, pity instantly gone. I told you.
I never had those.
One session.
I never had those.
George here going to try a different tack with the 7 deuce, this time suited. He's just going to call with it. In a dominated position against Yacht Club.
I thought people thought they were real concerned about me, buddy. I'm still stuck. But it doesn't matter.
I still believe people that say you're not good anymore, though.
I kind of was never good.
I kind of agree with that.
All right, Yacht Club not going anywhere with that queen high.
Couch is mad because every time you buy action from you, he loses like 10,000, 20,000. That's why.
And he's going to show it down. 7 deuce, no good.
They're not even playing the 7 deuce game.
I like the heart, though. You know, George keeps going for it. Although I think with a little bit more aggression on that one, he would have gotten it through. So chose the wrong time to play the 7 deuce passively.
Because I'm trying to save money.
Offsuit Underdog wants to know, does TCH Live still stream low to mid-stakes poker? Yes, absolutely. Wednesdays out of Dallas at the 510. And on Mondays, still got 2-5. Match the stack here out of Austin.
Most of those games can grow in size if you're not careful.
Kyle, do you want tequila on the rocks?
Really light on the
Yes.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
I don't have anything tomorrow. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And Kyle
Sure?
also.
Yeah.
Kyle also?
Yeah.
Ooh, nice roll for David there. Spiking the 99 and the clean 5x of the
I'll
wager.
just have the one.
Really good. I got a long drive. All right, Kyle.
Suited connector here for Brian. Going to raise it up to 800. Back over to ZeeFish in the big straddle, and he's got the ladies.
Everybody home. We'll have to break the game. Be like, okay, boys, look at it. Uber
Comes
service
in
ready.
for the squeeze.
I don't want to start yelling.
Brian Green, though, this is a very playable hand.
I'll take him home at some point, Jenny.
You don't love your position with just the jack high, but
That's true. I was telling somebody
does
else.
have position and flops top 2. There you go.
They didn't realize either, man. She just quietly won 11K somehow.
ZeeFish here going to go for some pot control checking.
Manny, that's a One of the few times I've seen
Queens, and a big chunky bet here snapped out by Brian, 3.7K into 5. These two players both starting the hand at about 20K. ZeeFish will go for the check call. Brian well out in front here, but an ace on the turn, not the card that Brian had in mind. Not going to slow him down, as he can still get value from kings and queens, or some sort of ace king, ace queen of diamonds.
Huge
perhaps.
bet, $9,000.
You're covering me, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, this is a very spicy bet.
I'd like 10K behind that.
The problem with this large size is that you can scare off pocket queens here. And you can see how uncomfortable
It's either going
ZeeFish
to be all
is.
in or I'm going to fold, so don't worry about it.
What do you have, man?
And if Brian bets 5K here, I think he gets called virtually all the time. 9,000
I'll believe you, Brian.
is going to get queens out of there, and yeah, no more value.
Oh, no.
I'll watch it after. Don't worry about it.
Pick one. Pick one.
You want me to pick one?
Yeah, the way Brian was talking made it really sound like he had a set with him asking ZeeFish, oh, you got pocket aces? And I think that's what took ZeeFish over the edge to fold.
I just walked up and saw one.
Maybe that ace saved me. Who knows?
Yeah, I did. I jacked in. Jacked in the heart.
Seriously?
Yeah, swear to God. Why would I lie?
That's it. You guys ace fucked you.
I was like afraid you fucking turned fucking set aces.
The ace fucked you. This would have been all your money.
I know, right?
No ace.
Yeah, the ace fucked me for real. For
Yeah.
sure. I already knew it did.
$100 straddle is on, folds to Paolo on the button.
Nice hand.
They'll open it up 2.5x.
No, queens with an ace on the turn. What can you beat?
Brian Green.
Brian Green.
What can you beat? Brian Green.
JD with one out after both players flopping bottom pair.
Hey, I 10-50.
Backdoor diamonds here working for JD. I suspect he'll take off one additional street at least. He does, and Queen of Spades now on the turn. Changes nothing. See if Paolo slows this down. He does, and we're getting more connected here by the minute.
Perfect.
But perhaps both players just going to be happy to take their showdown. Paolo is going to turn his hand into a bluff. Try to get a 5 to fold, I suppose, with this bet.
Dang. ZeeFish just with the bottomless. Royal bag or whatever that was.
I haven't seen that either. No, we're not
Okay.
That's not a good idea.
Oh, okay.
I don't want that.
Yeah, but you're not gonna get there until after the stream.
Yeah. I just don't want to.
It's a good 2 hours.
Okay, cool. We have just gotten word that the players are going to get the knit game going here in just a little while.
Oh, whatever.
So stay tuned for that. Always spices up the game a little bit, gets the juices flowing, as everybody going to have to pay out a $200 bounty, or a $200 penalty rather, to each player at the table if they are the last player with a knit button. So we'll get that started here in just a little while, so stay tuned. We've got ZeeFish flopping, top pair, and hammerlock on this hand.
When after the next flip. I don't know, 15 minutes.
Adds insult to injury. It's like, not only have I not won a hand, but now I got to.
That's actually usually how it happens. Like, they call it a big game, but usually it's like a run-down game.
Yeah.
Because like last time we played it, there was a section where I probably played like 10 hands after it, and I won 0 of them. And then I lost the Nick game on top of it. Like, that's just usually how it works. Like, the guys running really bad can't win a hand, like, also loses.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Kim Stone says she won a decent pot today with the Robbie. Nice. Always feels good.
That's really smooth tequila. What is this?
Yeah, right? I took a picture of
Comos.
I'll send you the picture.
Blue bottle.
Good stuff. It's extra añejo Cristalina.
Yeah, I must have Googled that.
Little ceramic bottles or whatever.
Yeah, ceramic bottles. Yeah.
Here's the alcohol talk coming out.
Here we go. That would really take this game over the edge. That's what we need.
It's Christmas. It's like Christmas. It's like red and white right there.
Yeah, so the one thing about the cruise, right, you have to buy your drink package, and whoever your like cabin mate is or whatever has to have it as well. So
really,
yeah. So if you're sharing a cabin with someone else, you and your cabin mate both have to have it.
It's so easy to share if you don't.
Yeah, I guess, or I don't know exactly, because you have to go and present your card when you get a drink. And so, like, what we were doing is, you know, we'd be playing cards, and we didn't have a dedicated server. This is one of the things that I hope is remedied in the future, is that there's at least someone that comes by every, like, 30 minutes or something to take orders. But anyways, the players would basically all just, like, hand their cards to one person, and they would go up and get... you know, 3 drinks or 4 drinks or something and bring them back down for everybody. So that was working fine. And as long as you had the cards, you know, they didn't need the actual person to be there. So, you know, it wouldn't really like prevent you from getting a drink for someone else, I presume, as long as you had a card with a drink package on it. But anyways, come back to that as we've got Yacht Club here rivering 2 pair. George here with the straight, betting 500. And if you're Yacht Club, 600. Is the price just a little too good? Or is your opponent just like never bluffing here for this size?
No, that's how I always win. That's how I always win. I just promise I won't ask you tricks.
God.
Because after all, that's what most men are after, right?
Yacht Club says, maybe it's too good to be true, but I got 2 pairs, so I call, and yep, it's too good to be true. George takes down a small pot. We'll move right along to hand number 61.
$30 hands an hour feels pretty strong. Right?
Yeah,
Or
that's
no?
definitely a good good clip.
I gotta have some good. I gotta have
Especially for live.
Good rest of April and May, you guys. Y'all gotta help me out.
All right.
I need some WSOP money.
All right. Let's do it.
I'd like to play a little bigger this year, so.
This is coming from the guy that played the $111,000 buy-in
All right, you want to flip?
tournament
You want to flip? Too soon.
and got 5th place for like $1.4 million.
Nice.
Flipping is a city in China.
Moneymaker. Deuces. Brian Green. Now he's pressing a little bit with the 8-4 off.
Yeah, definitely a loose defend here from Brian, but why not?
I just play cash games. And
He'll go if you go.
I might go for DEF CON. You want to go to DEF CON?
I don't know what that is.
It's a hacker conference. It's in August. It's like the worst time to go to Vegas.
Moneymaker, are you going to go?
Probably not.
They've probably got a lot of big games running.
Yeah,
Yeah,
For sure.
I just can't imagine.
I've been on it several times.
You know, I have this vision. Me flying out. It's
Moneymaker still down 5 figures. Everyone else.
Poker's actually
not suffering quite as badly or actually ahead.
It's a lot of fun here on my tournaments. Because, like, you register, and, like, it's fun, and, like, good sweat, all the bits are good.
Mallory there in the background taking some, snapping some photos
Now that he mentions that, we
of
do
these
know
players.
Yeah, I learned that Mallory commutes from Oklahoma every time she comes in town. It's wild.
Yeah, RV feels like
Got a poker-facing business based in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Very similar to the sort of bar leagues that I used to play back in Colorado and New Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Deuce. Go ahead.
Yeah, top pair here for George. No kicker, but Dong has a whole lot of squad deuce. So that's the end of that one.
I feel a big, like, super deep stack cooler pot coming inbound. We got stacks growing significantly, 20K plus. We got a 40 ball coming.
And so, like, realistically, what you have to do is want to, like, play cash and, like...
Yeah, I can definitely see Brian running into Dong in a spot where both players have sort of a wide range and then, you know, kind of find their way into a bit of a funky spot.
And, like, you can't, like, go to dinner because, like, what are you going to do, like...
That's my prediction anyways, if we do get a big old banger of a pot going.
Seems like a fair prediction.
You can't, like, go, like, hang out for 2 or 3 hours and then come back and play. Like, it's, you're just, like, once you leave, like, you were done for the night. So you're not getting back there. Right. And so
Brian here going to come after it with the 9-5 suited from the big blind here. And Dong with the ace-5 suited.
So, like, for cash, it's like
the hand that everybody loves
I can't see how late I need to get up early.
to raise up. Treat it like it's basically aces.
I have to wait that many hours to get in, and you're just like, well, like, now I can't, like... Yeah, that can mess
And wow, Brian quickly making the call here. Going to go to war out of position with 9-5 of diamonds. All red cards, no diamonds out there, though.
Yeah, but I wasn't...
And Dong here is just going to get to c-bet this small and take it down. Yeah, half pot. Easy.
Wow.
So one summer I went for like...
This guy Dong is fearless. Money he puts on the table, and he is very willing to put it in the middle. And he's up 12,000 US.
I'm kind of curious. I heard it's been good.
Having invested 50,000, but win's a win. 12K up, leading the way. Frankie Profit and Moneymaker still at the bottom, losing about a stack of high society.
Now that they picked up the...
Good what?
The main.
ZeeFish, suited gapper, 6-4 suited.
All right, so I believe next hand we're going to be doing a flip to sort of commemorate the halfway point of the stream, at which point I'm going to go ahead and step out after showing a couple of quick promos for y'all.
George King Queen completing the action. Jack Deuce 4, second pair, ZeeFish. Top pair for George, excuse me. Second pair for ZeeFish only.
Yeah.
Two pairs.
A little bit of an awkward spot here. George sort of taking his time thinking about what to do as the top card pairs. He's going to lead out now after check calling the flop, and ZeeFish letting go of his hand very quickly, sort of giving his opponent credit for something like pocket sevens or whatnot. And so George will take that one away. All right, as we get a dealer change and a flip going on here, let's take a look at some upcoming events here. We've got Wolfgang Poker hopping on the 510 live stream on Thursday, April 20th, starting at 6 p.m. Tune in to TCH Live for that. And then come on in down to Texas Card House in Houston on Friday, the following day, the 21st of April at 7 p.m. for the Wolfgang meetup game. Look forward to seeing y'all down there for that. And then also want to do a quick shout out to the players at the Rio Grande Valley, in particular these two fellows right here. They hit the Bad Beat jackpot last night at $46,000. You can see the hand there with the 4-5 of clubs, the 10-9 of clubs, both players making a straight flush. Wow.
I'm sure.
What
Must be
a,
nice, huh?
yeah, must be nice indeed. What a hand. Jeez.
All right, so flip coming, flip incoming. I'm going to go ahead and step out. Be right back.
Okay, all right.
Hand 64, Ben K, Aaron McAvoy,
All right, so
and we're starting the knit game.
As soon as you win a hand, you flip it over and.
So the way that the knit game is
Look,
going to work
JD's going to
is
explain
that
it, so I'll
you're
shut
going
up.
That's Moneymaker. To get rid of the button, you have to win a hand and you have to show it.
Okay.
So you have to show it. The flip does not count. Okay. So once you win the hand, you have to show your cards, and then you can get rid of this.
What to throw away?
So if you forget the last one with this,
If you forget to show, you have to keep it.
pays how much?
200 a person.
200 a person?
So it's 1,600 total.
Nice. Yeah.
Alright.
All right, pressure is on.
It'll be interesting, right? Heads up.
This is a $250 pot limit Omaha flip,
That's all you do.
and then after this,
Because once you're out of money,
we'll
you're out of money.
initiate the beginning of the knit game, where, as you heard JD explain, if you win a hand, if you win a hand and show a hand,
If you chop a pot, it doesn't count either. So if you run it twice, the top board is the board for this.
you can get rid of your
If you
knit,
guys have the same
whatever
hand,
you
you
call
chop,
it,
then
knit button,
What if you bust out? They have to
and the last player with their knit
if you
button
bust out, you're supposed to pay out of
has
the
to
pocket.
pay everyone $200.
Technically, it should go out of the pocket. Technically.
MC for 1 single unit.
Three.
Turning all mine over and see what happens this time.
Oh wow, yeah, I got
set.
4.
Pair the board.
4 of spades.
About a 5.
How about a 4?
Oh wow, you got diamond draw.
4.
4.
That's good.
Oh, I got a
Deuce.
God damn it.
Black deuce.
pair the board.
Black deuce. Black card. There we go. Nuts.
So JD's got the Nutter Butters with
Nuts. You can chop
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, 6 are all done. Ship it.
Oh wow.
Look at this guy, man. He knows too much.
Yes. Nuts straight.
Pop a set with a straight redraw. Oh my god.
And in a shocking turn of events, JD wins a hand.
All right,
Knit game is on.
What's JD? What's for a side bet? What odds do you need to say that Dong won't?
Also, before we get into the knit game, do want to make a quick announcement here that Texas Card House in Dallas and Las Colinas are hiring lots of open positions. We've got spots open for cashiers, hostesses, cooks, bartenders. If you want to get into the action, working for Texas Card House, look at the website for more information, texascardhouse.com.
Very exciting advancements in the Texas Card House model, having cooks and bartenders. Quite the intriguing prospect, food and beverages at an elevated level.
Heck yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the new Las Colinas location opening up. Getting to go check that out and yeah, get some food and some drinks while playing. Seems pretty freaking awesome.
And limit mixed games only at the Las Colinas location. It's going to be awesome. Which was a joke. Because no one would play.
JT, you're going to flop up and down straight flush draw here. One out to the Royal. Yacht Club here with the top pair, no kicker. Looks to go for the check call. Again, we are playing the knit game.
Pair the board.
So very incentivized to win a pot and get rid of your knit button. Yacht Club happy to check it once more. Not the best card in the world for JD to continue betting, as his opponent going to have more 10s than he, but he is going to continue for 1,000. Philip White wants to know any announcements on when Las Colinas will open. I am not privy to that information. From what I understand, there are still some things going on in the background in terms of permitting and things of that nature, as well as getting all of the staff involved in the new location as well. So again, if you're interested in participating, being part of that new grand opening, we are looking for new employees. All right, Brick City here for JD. Yacht Club holding on for 1,000 on the turn, checking it over on the river. Let's see if JD loads up another shell.
It's just a nice,
gives it up.
interesting additional element from the knit game where now JD basically has to bluff at it. Although I guess there is a diminishing return where maybe there's a better spot to save $200 than investing $3,000 on a king high board. And he does check back.
He's like, there's no need to fucking count. I'm taking that shit.
All right, Yacht Club, the first player to relinquish the knit button.
Pretty good night for Yacht Club so far.
Very much so, yeah. After picking up that pot right there, I think that's going to move him up very close, if not to the top of the leaderboard.
And there you go. Oh, wow. Even with Dong.
Vaughn Scott here in the chat, where can you apply for those positions? So I believe if you go to texascardhouse.com that there is a spot where you can navigate to for employment. If I'm not mistaken, you can go there and there will be a link or perhaps an email address, something of that nature. So sorry I don't have that exact information for you, but please go check out the website. I believe there is a page or a sort of a drop-down menu where you can access that information there.
That's how I would have scripted it.
Paolo with Jack 10 suited. Over Dong's open to 400 with 10-9.
Never lost another one. 5 out of 6.
Fuck. Flipping expert.
No, then I left and I was like,
Dong makes the call with the dominated 10, and it comes Jack high. Nice flop here for Paolo.
What's the biggest flip you ever sold?
I think that was it.
25?
Yeah, I think so.
Fuck.
Check to a 6 of hearts on the turn. Changes nothing.
30 here. I think that was the biggest I've ever seen.
And I lost one for 8. And then I had 25 left in front of me, so I fucking through the whole thing. He said 8.
Paolo now going to go for the half pot bet. Delayed C bet. Dong takes up with the small raise here, just up to 4,000.
So out of the last card, I need a diamond or
Kind of bizarre here, right? It's like what checks back and then raises. I mean, certainly a flop set of 3s or deuces or something could conceive of playing this way.
Four-liner to a straight. Paolo finds a call, and now Dong rips it for 10,000 more.
Wow, and a snap jam as well.
And Paolo not immediately releasing his hand. He's got top pair, pretty good kicker on a board that spades missed. You don't imagine your opponent, well, I don't know, Dong can have more 4s, I guess, having been the button raiser. He also called a 3-bet.
Yeah, the way that this was played, though, in my mind, Dong either has a flop set of 3s or deuces or absolutely nothing. And the reason I say that is that you just don't really see players checking back when there are potential flush draws out there. Now, Paolo may bet a lot of his flush draws.
Oof. Oh my goodness. What was it? Toss it in, dog.
Wow.
Did you show or no?
Yeah, Dong gets it through, turns it over, and shows that he was bluffing.
Paolo laying down the top pair.
Nice Antor.
Didn't even know
Playing tight today, right?
forgot about the Nick game.
But yeah, just the betting cadence there, check, check, flop, then the small raise on the turn. It just kind of feels like it has to be a set or nothing.
Yeah.
And to just snap jam it in there when the one-liner or four-liner, whatever you want to call it, comes in on the end. Just like, was there even enough time for someone to sort of look and see, like, wait a minute, the straight just got there. Don't you want to think about whether you're going to value bet your hand?
Right.
It felt a little bit too quick in my mind. But, of course, I can see the cards, so everything makes sense when you can have the top-down view. Much more challenging to be in the spot. Like, oh, cool, $10,000 I have to call with my top pair jacks with not really a good kicker. Why not? Paolo, though, pulls out some additional chips, including a bright yellow one, and right back on the horse, raising it up with the ace-4 suited. And wow, Moneymaker just folds the queen-10 suited there, not interested in playing that one out of position.
Look, when you gotta speak for 4 straight hours, sometimes the words don't always make it correctly.
Oh, sometimes I only have to speak for like 1 sentence because words are hard, and I'll screw them up real quick and real easy.
Like you should be quiet for a while.
Keep grinding here with a prediction that Moneymaker or Kyle Z will be the last players with the nip button.
George doing his part, calling 100 with the 3-5 off.
Everybody getting in the mix here.
Love it.
Okay.
5-way action at quarter, 50, 100. 5, 6, 9. ZeeFish. Top pair. Inside straight draw.
Checking through. Sort of an odd situation here for ZeeFish. You'd really like to get rid of your nip button. Or did he already get rid of his? I thought. No, he does still have his. Flopping the top pair there. I don't know. Pretty big incentive in my mind to clear the field, but he does get outturned, so to speak. Dong bricks out. And ZeeFish here is going to sort of value own himself, betting full pot very nearly with the pair of 9s. And wow, Dong is going for it with the queen high. Has the queen of hearts in hand, so he's going to raise this up, bluffing like he's got a flush. The best hand gets folded, as does the second best hand, and Dong ships another one. This time bluffing with the queen high.
Jeez.
Last time with the 10 high, and man, at some point these players are going to have to go ahead and start putting their foot down against this man. Ryan Crow joining us here in the chat as well. Hello, hello, he says. What's going on, Ryan? All right, looking again here at the earnings. Dong now up over 20,000 after those couple of big bluffs.
Gosh, he's like really run it up in the past 20 minutes, making his own luck for himself. And look at this disparity. Only 3 winners on top right now. A lot of pretty significant financial, there's no good way to say this, but losers at the bottom.
Players who have misplaced some of their chips.
Right. They aren't losers, but they are losing in the game currently.
All right, folds to JD. He's got the king, queen, and he'll raise this up as we do have the $200 straddle on here from Brian Green. And the 9 triz offsuit. Yeah, even Brian Green not a believer in that hand. So
JD no longer a nit.
Not able to relinquish his nit button.
No. Is that a poker game variant?
So when I was a kid, we used to play 7-card stud, but they called it baseball.
Okay.
9s are always wild.
Okay.
But if a three comes up, like if it's in your down card, it's not wild. But if it comes up, that player has the option to match the pot to make 3s wild, but every 3's wild, or they can just not make it wild.
Only they match the pot.
Yeah, it's their choice. If they say no to the first 3 that comes up, if the 3 comes up as their up card, they can either match the pot to make 3's wild, or they can just decline.
I've heard of
Not
this
everybody
game
has to match the
before.
pot. Only they match the pot.
Right.
Okay.
They match the pot, but everyone's 3's wild.
Yeah, everybody else's 3 is not wild too.
Oh, baseball.
Baseball. I've never heard of that.
It's a fun game.
It's like 7-card stud, basically.
7-card stud with 9's
wilds.
wild,
With
3's
wilds.
can be bought.
All right, Paolo here with the ace queen O. He'll raise it up to 350. Moneymaker is in the mix.
So it's like a common thing, like other people know it.
Dong is gonna come after them again. He's like, no one is gonna no one's gonna push back against this. So let's just go for it. Jack 5. Oh, it's not even the Robbie.
So I call like a
And Paolo here, he's already been pushed around by this man. How does he want to play this? As a call or a re-raise? Just a call. Actually inviting Moneymaker in. There's a substantial amount of Moneymaker's remaining stack. He'll put it out there, and stack to pot ratio at 2 for Moneymaker.
So it's 5 aces versus.
And it comes jack high, why not? Dong here with the top pair.
He said his hand had to be
No kicker. And he'll just go ahead and bet half pot and take it down.
Yeah.
Take it down again, man.
My impression was that
When he's hot, he's hot.
Mr. Delivery joining us here in the chat. What's up, my man? Says just logged on. Who gave Dong all that money? Well, pretty much the rest of the players at the table have been all participating in that maneuver. But yeah, he's putting on a clinic here. Got a couple of really big bluffs through here just as of late, and making moves with hands like Jack 5 off and making it work.
I think what I learned is that we need to ask what the best hand possible with wild cards is.
Yeah.
Because we didn't, and the only verification I can get is that there's no hand that beats a roll flush in poker.
Yeah.
But this guy's like, that's true, but when you have fucking 2 wild, when you have 8 wild cards.
Yeah, when you have wilds, yeah. I think 5 of a kind wins. So I think, yeah, 5 aces would be the best.
The thing I learned is clarify that before, because no matter what I decided,
Yeah, Dong definitely on a heater here, showing us how it's done.
No, that's fair.
TCH Live
I mean,
Tuesday.
it's like an 8K pot, and
So we've got a raise here from George. Yacht Club
I mean, it's going to come up pretty
making
often.
the call.
It's not that
ZeeFish
hard to
as
make a roll
well.
flush with that many wilds up there, you know. So.
See if anyone else squeaks
why roll
into
flush
this
is not
pot.
that
Dong with a suited 1-gapper. Not going to test his luck trying another big bluff. He'll just call, and we'll go 4 players to a flop.
I love the idea of deuces. I love deuces wild.
Jacks, Yacht Club. Trips and a few straight draws for George and Dong.
Yeah.
4 does nothing.
I get more action. And make the hands better too, because if you don't play 7
George
cards,
here going to take a little stab at this with 2 overcards and the Broadway draw. Is drawing dead as a king would fill up Yacht Club's boat. Who now raises to 1.5K.
play this game in a home game around here.
And yeah, with the full rainbow board out there, really not a lot
They call it Choctaw Hold'em.
to
You get 3 cards.
give
Hold'em, you get
Yacht
3 cards.
credit
You
for
go
in terms of
usually
bluff.
3 cards, 1 face up. So it's like you get 2 face.
So he
2 cards
will
down, 1
release,
card
and
face up. But you
Yacht
can like have
Club
a
takes
set.
this
Yeah,
one
you
down,
can
adding
have a
even more chips into his stack. Solidifying his spot in second position in terms of overall earnings this evening.
Yeah, it's really, it gets
He's going to have a nice little down payment for another yacht.
he continues to run like he has tonight, well played.
This isn't enough, so let's do something for all the DJs. Like, I'm really surprised short deck hasn't caught on everywhere. Because the first time I played in it, I fell in love with it. Because you just really can't, you can't really be that big of a dog. If you bluff, you get caught, it's like, okay, you stick the rest of the money and still not be that big of a dog. And you can't bluff that much.
All right, so hand number 72 coming at us. Got $100 straddle on here. JD ace queen suited this time. I'll make it 250
I've never
to go.
played that. Short deck.
Short deck?
It's a lot of fun.
I've never played it either.
A lot of fun. I really thought it was going to catch on because it's a super gambling game.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They created,
House last one, right?
they created it for all
Mike,
Asian guys.
does it still sound weird? Test. Maybe it disconnected.
Okay, Paolo here raising it up 1.1K with the 9s. Back over to JD now. And he'll make the call. So here we go. Heads up to a flop. Paolo with the betting lead. First to act. Comes 6 high with a couple of diamonds.
I one time played the Mexican poker.
Test.
And I did.
Mexican sweat?
No, not Mexican sweat. Mexican poker they call it.
okay.
And I didn't know they took out one card.
Okay.
So I was like, it was a Mexican.
All right, Paolo will continue
So, like, what do you
for a
have?
little under
I mean,
1/2 pot.
Obviously, my drill kind of good, and it turned out that he
JD
has
makes the call.
6, 7, 9, 10 jack straight. This 8 was missing. He said we don't
9
play.
on the turn here. Top set now for Paolo.
And I mean, I look at his phone calls like.
Still some opportunities for JD to get bailed out. Paolo checks it over.
14K effective. A lot of cards on the river could make this super interesting.
And this was at
Pot control.
Bicycle
Oh
Casino
no,
at
Queen on river.
California. That's the Mexican poker. I didn't know
Yeah,
the
definitely
Mexican
not a
poker
great
took out
card
one
for
card.
JD in terms of
They say they skipped
trying
that one
to
card
bluff
and
catch
they
his
made it from 7
opponent.
to 9. And I didn't
See
know
how
that.
big Paolo goes. Think a big chunky size is in order here, but he disagrees. He's going to go for half pot.
Single draw.
Yeah, just 2.1K here. I think this is a trivial call from JD. Could even consider raising once in a blue moon, but the problem is if you raise and Paolo goes all in, you're just always dead.
It's more
So
deceiving because
calling once again sort of the more
stuck in
prudent
6
choice,
cards.
but
So I
let's
thought
see how JD approaches
I
this.
was like, no way.
Rules apply. There's no limit. But you know, deuce to 7 is the best hand you can make.
Could just ship it all in himself.
But it's whole card. It's a, you can make kind of straight,
Targeting
but your whole
king,
card
queen,
you can bridge 3 gap.
queen, jack,
with 2 whole
and
cards.
what's that?
It's
Bill.
like, oh, you're gonna bridge 3 gap with 2 whole
Maybe
cards.
jamming is a little bit excessive, but if he wanted to make his hand look like a bluff, he does control 2 diamonds, for example. Not the worst hand combination to do it with. Let's see what he does.
Oh, he's reaching deep.
But it's no limit too, so you can bluff like the same way as
There we go. 2.1K the original bet. JD going to 3x this.
6,400 total, and I don't think Paolo's worried.
Yeah, I mean, he loses to a set of queens and 5-3, and both of those hands are just extraordinarily unlikely, given the way that this hand is played out. I think Paolo here just going to do a little bit of standard tank, make it look like he does have something to think about before the rest of the chips go in. Then JD is going to be like, why the hell did I raise this guy?
Yeah.
Stephen Tick say, JD got that thin value look in his eyes. Yeah, no, he sure did. And now it's going to come back to bite him. And I'm not really sure what JD can do about it when he puts this raise in. Like, it'll feel like he's just always losing, but it's like, did he ever raise to fold this hand?
Maybe he's only just assholes to Nick.
He chops sometimes, right?
He calls. Wow, $31,000 pot going to Paolo with a set of nines. Wow.
Yeah, fantastic turn there for Paolo. Checks it over to JD, who checks back, hits pretty much the worst card that he could imagine. Goes for the thin value raise, then gets jammed on, 3-bet jammed on the river, still finds the call, presumably hoping to chop or perhaps even pip king-queen, something of that nature, but yeah, tough spot there for JD. Paolo getting the full double up and profit of 15.8K there. That is going to move Paolo all the way out of the hole and well into positive territory on the evening.
13, 15.
Paolo, you should buy you a new Lexus. Get you like a 4-year-old Lexus.
$31,000 pot, biggest pot of the night. Paolo. Thinking about the Mirage.
You're counting down all of these chips and making sure that Paolo gets his due.
Accurate accounting. Well done by the dealer and Paolo. Just won, as Brian Green said, 4-year-old Lexus at that pot.
He was so fucking happy though that I got him unstuck from the night before. No, I'm super fucking happy.
I'm adding 13,000.
That's a lot for me. That's a lot for me, and I kept thinking, goddamn, why didn't I at least record this shit? If I'm gonna flip off 71, you're all about that. Wow. Of course.
Didn't even get him even.
There we go, Paolo up ahead of Yacht Club now on overall earnings. Moneymaker, JD, both stuck 5 figures plus.
We got a poker game now, folks.
10 million at least. Well, the thing is, everybody's always just told me the last year's like, $40
Remember, we've still got the knit game in effect. Several players out there still with their knit button. Moneymaker, one of them. But not involved in this hand. Here we go. Brian Green just going to call with the nines. Perhaps a spot where the squeeze would be in order a lot of the time from the small blind there, but just going to take off a flop.
5-way action. Open-ended straight draw for Dong. King high flush draw for Paolo. Let's go. Queen on the turn.
Spite Bello here in the chat says, good thing he went for half pot, huh? Getting JD to pull the trigger. No, it absolutely worked out very well for him, all things considered. Using that, yeah, that middling size definitely did get JD to bite. All right, to the river, 7 of spades. Paolo gets there. The king high spade flush, and Brian fires out 1K.
Heater check for Paolo.
3,500 here. Brian does not control a spade. Having the 9 of spades, I think, would definitely entice him into more of a call. But yeah, this just feels pretty gross, and he does let it go. So avoids any further damage, but yeah, did get unlucky there on the end.
What happened at the end of the stream? Everybody still got the net, but they all got to pay the other player.
They all got to pay us.
I mean, this one we just keep playing, but I don't think it'll go 2 hours.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, if multiple players still had their knit button after a long time, yeah. Yeah, George, ZeeFish, Moneymaker all have their buttons.
That would suck if they were still playing the stand-up game. You're just literally standing there for 2 hours.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, the only player I'm not sure about is, yeah, Kyle Z. He does also have his. Okay, so 4 players. No, Brian has his as well. Okay.
He's been trying. RV Phil, Paolo doing Paolo things.
I can't just let him in. Oh, man. Get out of the game. I mean, that's way
Mr. Delivery says, seeing all this carnage makes me grateful to be elsewhere. Elsewhere. Words are hard. Well, where else are you, good sir? Bet a 200 here from Kyle with the 9s. Yacht Club out flopping Kyle, top pair.
Jacks. Oh, wow. Trip 9. Set of 9s for Kyle Z.
And Yacht Club here with a very strong bluff catching candidate. Could definitely find himself paying off this full pot size bet of 1,000 here on the end. Block straights. Has top pair on the flop. Backdoor clubs missed. He doesn't have a club. Plenty of reasons to talk yourself into a call here. And he will indeed make the call. Sees the rivered set of 9s. He's like, oh, geez, okay, that sucks.
Wow, those 9s today. They're flopping.
So Montebello here says, just got here, what's a knit button do? Well, let me give you a quick rundown on what the knit game is. Everybody gets a button at the beginning of the game. When you win a hand, you give your button, your knit button, to the dealer, and you are off the hook. This continues until there are only 2 players left that have a button, and then it's a battle between those 2 players basically to win a hand before the other player does. The last player with their knit button still in front of them has to pay everyone else at the table $200. So it's an effective penalty for not winning a hand before everyone else does, and sort of adds a little bit of extra spice to the game. So hopefully I did a decent job of explaining that.
Yeah, great job. Basically a $1,600 penalty for the, quote, loser of the knit game. So you got to get in there and mix it up. Try to win some pots. You have to show.
That's correct. Yeah, to get rid of your knit button, you must show your hand. Ooh,
oh.
Wow. Big flop here. Both ZeeFish and JD flopping top trips. ZeeFish here with no picker. Up against it.
Game over.
No more drinking.
Game over.
JD and the tank trying to consider his options. Oh, that brings George in, wanting to win the knit game. A little optimistic with the ace-10 ball. Here comes a 3. ZeeFish feels like he hit Jin. Does not realize he's he's value owning himself.
Yeah, full Badoogie out there, tough to represent anything with a raise here in terms of some bluff sort of draws and things of that nature, but at the same time, when you're JD, you really want to get more chips into this pot as quickly as possible. He is still just going to call, though, keeping his entire range sort of all integrated together. That will finally get George out of the way, though, and here we go, heads up to a river. ZeeFish here very likely still thinking that he's best, and he is now. He fills up on the river. JD.
This sucks for JD. This is a miracle for ZeeFish. 17K effective. How does ZeeFish get all the chips?
Well, I mean, very clearly from that last hand that we saw, he should bet half pot. JD will go for the raise, and then ZeeFish can back jam.
Yeah, and get a call.
Get paid.
Yeah. Overbet coming.
JD is like, come on, man. Really? 7,000 into 4? And he's just at the top of his range? He's like, yeah, you just get the money.
Gosh. ZeeFish knows he just got super lucky and submits his knit button and rakes a huge pot. 31 in his stack, up 1,100.
Yeah, ZeeFish there really earning a lot back on the night. Was stuck pretty big until that hand right there. JD has to go back to the well for some additional chips, as he is now stuck nearly 20,000. Yeah, some pretty savage rivers here. That is absolutely correct, Spite Bella.
Unless your name was Martin Had a Dream, and then apparently
Nobody cared.
There's no amount of rudeness.
I was the only one at the table who said, "Hey guys, maybe let's talk about it."
What was that?
There was this one stream where like it was Martin's first stream and he was taking a shot, you know, and like everyone at the table was so horrible to him.
No,
like,
not
needled
everyone.
him.
Not everyone.
Mr. Delivery changing his tune.
Everyone needled him
Since
so
JD's the one getting whacked.
Not everyone, no.
That was bad. We shouldn't have done that.
All right, Yacht Club raising it up with the ace tray. ZeeFish makes the call, and both players are working with a pair of sevens on board, ace high, and no kicker.
But still,
It's a little much. Especially when you watch back the stream.
first time playing this fucking game. Running terrible. And then also, oh yeah, you have more chips? You have some chips in your backpack?
Wow.
It's
Threes for Yacht Club.
Did he lose that? He lost 30. That's
3 left with the Knicks.
So he's taking a shot. Yeah.
No, not yet. There's 3 left.
Big, like way bigger than he'd ever lost.
Give me a heads
Picking up the pair here, Yacht now slows it
You
down.
really have more chips? Really?
ZeeFish will bet, trying to get a better ace high to fold. Clear out some high card equity. King, queen folds or something of that nature.
To be honest, like when I would have like a session like Martin.
5,
like,
wow.
streams,
ZeeFish, 1,
Not
2,
sure
3, 4,
what
5.
it
Rivers the wheel.
That was the point.
Meter check for
Probably.
ZeeFish now. 2 Miracle Rivers.
It is.
And another overbet here as well. This may be a little bit too big for Yacht Club to pay off, as yes, busted hearts like are a thing maybe, but I mean, a 6 is a straight. There's a lot of things out there that beat you.
I like BMW.
Yeah. Brutal.
There's something about a pins, man. It's just
Yeah, I
like,
know. It has that extra oomph.
Yacht Club cuts out the calling chip, but now going to go into the tank.
That's what happens.
Is that what happens?
What's it going to cost me? 200K? God damn.
they're like, this world
Ooh, this man is a non-believer. Very nearly just snap called.
I don't like
Wow.
But now
their
going
design.
back into the tank to try to think this one through. He's like, wait a minute. Could he just have, you know, 6x of hearts? Something like that?
They look like 300.
Exactly. They just change it a little bit.
Wow. Perfect. 2 hands in a row.
5 on the river, 5 on the river.
Yeah,
Boom,
2
boom.
5s on the river and another $7,000 profit for ZeeFish.
Dog, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, dude.
It's been a long road, ZeeFish.
ZeeFish coming for Dong, he says. The only man at the table that he could get a full double up through. Actually, yeah, because he has now eclipsed Paolo there. And what a roller coaster of a night here too for ZeeFish, as he was stuck big pretty early on, crawled back from down about 10K to now up 7.8.
Yes.
Is that right? No, something seems wrong there. Did we just?
Now he's going to remember a hand.
I don't think he was down that much, was he?
I don't know. When he had won that big one, it said he was up 1,100.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Chris Cashman in the chat. What's up, dog? ZeeFish is a total savage. When he's running hot, it's like battling against a bulldozer. Words of a man that's experienced it.
I mean, there's nothing I like. Bro, there's nothing I like in life more than
All right, 3 players to a flop. Diamonds heavily represented.
You're like Paolo. It's very clear.
Understood.
No one makes a pair.
To me, like, why else would you work so hard and try so hard? You know?
Still no pairs. Pretty much whoever takes a stab at this can take this one down.
And then when you get like over the 20 million mark, you can pretty much just
And that will be Kyle Z.
call your shot.
All right, so as far as knit buttons go, we've got George there, and we've got Brian and Moneymaker, I think, our 3 remaining players with knit buttons.
Yeah, the red felt makes it a little harder to see.
Oh shit.
AJ, for once in the living, AJ.
Said he's coming.
No.
Yeah.
He's out of town, I guess.
That's what he said, right?
All right, the $200 straddle is on. Dong here going to raise this up. No, he's just going to call.
I raised.
No, you raised.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, no, Dong did raise. Made it 500 to go.
Ace Queen of Diamonds.
Oh, Brian's got one too?
Yeah. Yep. Brian, Chris.
Yeah, I went outside with real stupid. No idea. Until I showed back up, I was like, oh.
Dong, 9-7 suited, defending. Club in the door. That feels like a pretty good flop for 9-7 clubs.
1600. Your smoke breaker.
Yeah, and if you're Yacht Club, this is not the flop you had in mind. But Dong checks it over to him.
Give me a shot. You might still owe, but.
An ace of clubs or a queen of clubs would make life very interesting.
Well, I suspect Dong is doing this with the intention of a check raise. His hand is quite massive, but really benefits a lot from getting a fold early on, as he does just still have 9 high.
I mean, they're getting
So yeah, the check raise comes in. And then, dude, it always sucks when you're in Yacht Club spot and this sort of thing happens to you. You're like, all right, I called, I had a really good hand, and then they checked it, so I bet, just hoping to like take it down, and then they check raise me. Like, what the hell? You know,
Yeah.
just sucks.
Did they just read me like a book, or do I really just run this bad?
I mean, I have a happy life. I don't feel like that, so, you know.
But yeah, 9 high actually had, what was it, 60-some% equity against the ace queen. So pretty good spot there if you're Dom.
Floating stack?
No. It's because you don't know why. It's like,
Well, I mean, it's clear why. Like, I agree.
but I know, but normally if you
chip
feel
was, like,
down,
confusing.
there's like a reason.
It looked different color. No,
I mean, I had nights where like I
looked
had like an
purple or
amazing night the
something.
night before.
Yeah.
You know, and then
It's
I'm like,
clearly
why am
like-
I sad today?
It's clearly like a chemical thing.
Like
you know?
tonight.
No other takers for the $200 straddle. Brian, pretty much the only player putting that one on.
Shit, dude, I do feel the same way.
There's like a vitamin that
Let's say Sunday you wake up
people
like,
take like after they get
All
married.
right, and
oh, no,
George here, raising it up against the, oh, I guess Brian must have won a pot. He doesn't have his knit button, unless I'm mistaken. So I think it's just George and Moneymaker here that are still sporting the knit buttons.
I don't know. I'm that excited.
Second pair here for George
Just wake up like
against 2 opponents. Maybe good enough to just bet and try to take this one down. And wow, big bet at that, 1,000.
You're waking up like zip fitting, dude.
And he's going to have to show his hand to get rid of his knit button. He does.
Oh, now there's 2.
Uh-oh. The view probably helps.
Okay, so no, there is someone else with a knit button still. I guess it must be Brian after all.
oh shit, out of the blind.
Battle of the blind. Brutal battle of the blind.
Like, we had fun, but not that much fun. You know what I mean? Like, it was a very good time, but not worth it, you know?
Ah, there it is. He just moved it over to the other side. So yeah, Brian and Moneymaker comes down to these 2 players. Who's going to win the next hand between them and effectively have an $1,800 swing? As if you don't win a hand, you got to pay out $1,600, and if you do, you get paid $200. A lot of pressure on those 2 players. Moneymaker folds. Brian has queens and is in great shape to get rid of his knit button. Comes ace high with a 10. He'll make a $500 C bet. Dong will make the call. Check. Half pot, quick call, going to the river. 5 of hearts, always coming 5 on the river. And here we go, check, check. On the end, Brian Green gets rid of his knit button, and everyone going to be the recipient of $200 from Moneymaker.
Chin chin. Take 2, pass it around.
And there you go. You've got the the prediction from whoever it was in the chat earlier that Moneymaker or Kyle Z would be the nip. Sure enough, it is Moneymaker.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Moneymaker.
Thanks, Moneymaker.
Thanks, Moneymaker.
Everybody chiming in to give their appreciation to Moneymaker for their $200.
It's a real blessing.
Yeah, thank you,
Don puts me all in on it, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Last hope done.
Like, I didn't want to say anything, but I was like, as I was watching, I was like, oh, Chris has a lot writing on his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Like 2 action
Is
guys.
there
It's like,
any other variations? Like
Dong was
besides
fighting at
this?
least.
yeah. He was trying to help you.
Yeah, so
I know.
Oh, and one hand too late, Moneymaker gets kings. Oh, that's nasty. JD raising it to 250 up front with the 6-5 suited. Moneymaker squeezing from the small blind. JD makes the call, and it comes queen high with 2 spades.
Except for the massage.
2,400 in the middle. Moneymaker going to continue for just about half pot. And JD here.
He asked me, Eddie asked me on my way there, he's like,
looking to get the rebound going for himself, looking for a spade here on the turn. Does pick up some additional outs. The deuce of diamond can now hit a 4 for a spade. And Moneymaker slows down with a check here. Interesting. If you're JD, how do you approach this spot? You still have just 6 high, plenty of equity. Goes for 2/3 sizing here, 2.5K now.
Moneymaker got the game face on. You don't like it when he puts this face on. He's going to rip it and ship it.
And once again, JD in a spot where he's like, why do I not just check or call or whatever?
It's one of those nights.
He is. Has to relinquish all of that equity.
Nice.
You got that 1600.
One hand too late. Fuck.
Yeah, 12 pretty pure outs.
One fucking hand too late.
Going
So
to
we're not going to continue playing the net game?
the river. Has to just let those all go to the big check raise all
You guys want to
in.
play again?
Why do we ever stop?
And the sled just gets tougher here for JD.
What time is it? I really don't care about it that much anyway. $200.
It's 8. We got like an hour.
My
hour
goodness,
15
look at
minutes.
these stacks. 76,000, 34,000, 37,000.
All right, let's do it.
We're looking at the better part of 200K on the table here. Very nearly $200,000.
It's wild.
Starting this hand.
And JD's distributing knit buttons once again.
Let's go. Run it back.
Yeah, with less than an hour, right around an hour left in the broadcast too. We'll see if we can make it through to have the knit game paid out by the end of the broadcast. The first time through took quite a while. I guess it was just about an hour, wasn't it? They started it after the flip, so okay. No, we should be able to get it through.
Aren't you the guy that had the Instagram that was so hot your girlfriend made you shut it down?
I won't do it again. This time I'm doing it.
Do or die.
JD getting frisky here with the 5-4 suited, and ZeeFish is gonna defend. Jack 10 off, low jack and high jack here.
Sure.
The Instagram pic?
Yeah, they're like, oh, I remember you. Like, do you remember me? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would remember you. They're like, I remember you. Do you remember me?
Pair for both players, but ZeeFish with the toppest of pairs. Not going anywhere.
Pretty sure Instagram's like the new Twitter, you know? I mean, not Twitter, but the new Tinder.
Is it?
Pretty sure it is.
For successful people.
For successful, yeah.
For Brian
That's
Green,
right.
yes.
That's right.
Check on the turn.
I wonder if
ZeeFish
it's
improves to top 2 pair.
That's for the guys that can fly out to Dubai.
You can fake it. Just
He'll
start,
go
like, getting
for
pictures of yachts and
2/3
shit.
value bet.
I'm accounted for. Please.
Just saying.
And yeah, JD here getting run through the meat grinder here.
Yeah,
so
it's not a
far.
fun feeling.
Just rent the Ferrari and like.
Yeah, you got it. You just find one out here. Just stand in front of it.
Oh yeah, they have those the YouTube the prank ones.
I'm sure someone's driving a McLaren.
Have you seen those videos?
Kyle Z up $50. He can go to Taco Bell if he wants.
That sounds really good.
I concur. That is.
We always end up talking about freaking Taco Bell, man.
Well, that's my Tuesday night ritual, man. So it's always on my mind. That's for sure.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm digging the double steak grilled cheese burrito that they've got on the menu as of late. Quite delicious.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, and you can get it spicy too, where they put like sliced jalapenos
Nice.
into the cheese that they melt onto the top of the burrito. Very good.
2.5, 3 weeks.
Wow.
I think it's the end of it's the end of April, like start of May. So I think it's in like.
I know, I'm just like over here salivating thinking about it, and I've got like an hour until I can go eat.
We're still over there. Oh shit.
I was just making it right.
Right, yeah.
All right, 3 players to a flop here. ZeeFish already has gotten rid of his knit button.
Did they up the ante at all for the knit button, or is it still 200?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear when JD was distributing the buttons what they had agreed to, but my guess is that they would just re-up it for another 200. Oh, wow. Moneymaker flopping the top 2 in a brilliant spot. Brian Green, though, smashes the turn, making the nut straight.
15K effective. This is seen Moneymaker make some big folds tonight, and previously this will put him to the test.
Very small bet here from Brian as well. This almost looks like it's just a...
Oh, he's going to rip it?
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, I was going to say this looks like this is just trying to
pot.
earn a free river, but my goodness, is this just a cooler setup?
Wow. Tough night for Moneymaker. $36,750 pot while getting your shoulders rubbed. Just like that, Brian Green's up 12K on the night, and Moneymaker, unfortunately, continuing his negative run.
Give me like, can you count out 5?
Yeah, both JD and Moneymaker getting stepped on here this evening. Both down 26,000.
We got a serious poker game now. Hand 84, multiple players over 30K in their stack, and that was the biggest pot of the night, 36,000.
And just like that, Brian, who has been stuck for the majority of the evening.
Yeah, that's what he was waiting for.
Unstuck and up 12K. Yeah, and that tiny little bet, just the perfect thing to get Moneymaker to go for the max value. Man, what a great feeling it is, too. Like, regardless of what stake you're playing and how many actual dollars we're talking about, when someone just shoves into you for a massive amount and you have the stone colds, you're just like, is this real life right now?
Yeah,
like
this doesn't happen to me. Yeah, pretty fun but rare feeling.
And Moneymaker gets the king-queen right back. Like, well, we didn't treat you so good the last time, but let's let's try it again. Brian's like, well, he's in there, I'm in there. We are going to go 3 ways to a flop.
Ace 9 4, I think, was the official flop. There we go. And this is what, man.
Wow.
Guys like Dong have an innate ability to just understand when players don't have it. Like in that spot, he's just like, let me make this even more miserable for Moneymaker, who's stuck 27,000. Rebuy for 17K, you start bluffing immediately, and I'm just going to raise you with basically air.
Yeah.
The remaining people.
Yeah, pretty wild stuff.
I need to post the live betting odds and see if I can get action.
That's the real way to monetize the stream, right?
But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, Dong has played a pretty unorthodox style, but he has really found just the most brilliant spots. Getting the big bluffs through, having his big hands get called down. I mean, yeah, things are just working for him.
I was gonna say,
Feeling the vibe.
That's the second good idea I've heard from you. A lot about it last stream. I really like the idea of your intros.
Wow,
and
that
stuff.
is you.
There we go. Paolo with the 9 triz, raising it up on the button. Gets rid of his nit button.
He stung you one time, you scared to play him now instead of now. You can't stun the set every time. I like when you're
Raina in the chat says she feels for Moneymaker tonight. Yeah, absolutely. JD as well. Both these players taking it in the shorts, so to speak.
What's your plan for the day? You can just be like, I'm gonna fucking stack mine.
Ragnar chiming in, being like, yeah, well, these two guys, the biggest losers, what is going on?
Yeah.
It's a little bit outside of the norm, I would say.
Sure.
And the people who don't want it, they can just say, no, I don't want any of
It looks like we've got a rash of card misreads here.
At my place, I'll have all the 9 spots blocked off, and I'll
Hopefully this is not something that plagues us for the remainder of the evening for a couple of hands
I
here.
have to
But
rent one. 2016. I gotta rent the new one.
Give me a heads up, Ryan, so I can get rid of the Prius.
I'm more of a rent a McLaren.
Good luck.
Kyle Z is in there as well, so multi-way. Everybody trying to get rid of their knit button.
I mean, definitely if you come play on my stream too, I'll feed you dinner.
Oh, man.
That's a flop with a little bit of something for a couple of these players anyways.
Just are you guys going to be willing to drive it Burleson?
Where the hell is
Ryan Green trying to sell a competitive stream or competing stream on our stream.
I might not have any money back.
Bet a 500 called in 2 spots.
So
3 waves to a turn. And it's a king of diamonds. JD makes a flush.
That makes sense.
Moneymaker, top pair.
You talked to the DA?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they told me like all the 5 important people to talk to, they all said, hey, tell me.
Four-liner to Broadway. Any jack makes a straight. JD here now with an opportunity to get paid, as a jack is pretty much going to have to call. See if he goes for a big pot-sized bet. Something like that.
Later on to say I wasn't for it.
It's pretty good. 1600.
You're from Dallas originally, right?
Yeah.
You never lived in Cali? You just visited?
1600. No, goes for the modest half pot.
Yeah, you seem like you have
sizing.
the SoCal swag. Dude. I'm surprised you never lived out there.
I mean, for a little bit.
Even like our Manhattan Beach, Malibu.
You know who Alan Cunningham is?
Moneymaker quickly makes the call and cannot beat the 7-high flush.
2-story.
JD back at it,
Up and down.
winning 3,800. Not huge, but also not shabby.
Yeah, any pot is a good pot when you're stuck a bunch.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just happened to be between JD and Moneymaker as well, the 2 players that are both suffering the most. So,
yeah?
Wow.
Yeah, literally like probably.
But you said that Dong was in for over 6 figures last week, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
this man enjoys the swings.
sure does.
And no telling what happens off stream too. Like this guy likes to play all night long and plays huge.
Okay.
I wish, bro. I can't really afford it in California. It's crazy. In Texas, you can live super big and not have to do
I know.
Aaron and Ben, y'all have any thoughts about the Nick Airball versus Berkey
My
beef?
sister just sent me this place.
I literally don't have any thoughts. I need somebody to explain it to me. I know I saw the video of Berkey getting in his face at Bobby's room, it looked like, but it sounds like they're playing heads up or something, and
It's like, holy shit.
it's
Such a big turnout.
what all the Twitter poker players enjoy talking about these days. There always seems to be some type of controversy for poker Twitter to align on, or at least beef about.
Everybody moving it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's just drama. And I'm just not a big drama guy. Like, you've got everybody from Doug, Polk, and, you know, people talking about it and raising a big stink and getting all, you know, personal attacks and talking about different things. To me, it's just, it's distraction, you know, which is all fine and dandy. If that's your bag, go for it. But to me, I'm just, I don't know. I'm much more of the mindset that, like, if you're a good poker player and you want to, like, issue a challenge, go ahead, you know. Issue a challenge, see who comes, and let the game, let your game sort of speak for itself. But when, you know, you kind of have this, like, MMA or boxing kind of thing where it's like you got to do a bunch of shit talking in order to, like, puff yourself up or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit like, well, are you compensating? Like, aren't you just going to go beat this guy's ass or whatever? Like, why do you got to talk so much smack? And I've always respected the players or the fighters or whatever it is that are just, like, humble and quiet and kind of keep to themselves. And then they show up and they show you who they are with their game or their style of fighting or whatever. They don't need to do all the smack talking in order to sort of build themselves up.
100%. Wholeheartedly agree. This is some kind of weird variation of, like, the poker boom started with a lot of ESPN doing a lot of the narrative building, and they did a really good job, and it was really professional, and you kind of created these characters out of nowhere. I wish there was more of that instead of just like self-manufacturing beef and squabbles over Twitter to drive clicks and interest in poker again. It's just like kind of tired to me.
Yeah. So a little bit of something for everybody here. Some top pairs, some middle pairs, some up and down straight draws. Four of spades, pretty much the biggest brick in the deck here. Full Badoogie on board. Brian going to continue betting his top pair, no kicker. And I guess the 9 isn't no kicker, but it's not a great one. Only George will continue to a river with 37.50 in the middle. Needs to find an 8 or a king to improve to the best hand. But it's another 4. And Brian is just going to continue hammering away here. Honestly, a little bit tough to think of a hand that can call and you beat it. Perhaps Ace-10 could be convinced to call if he had stuck around this far, but we've already seen one player with Ace-10 go by the wayside. George here, though, perhaps contemplating a big bluff, but he will, in fact, just let it go. And Brian, who has already gotten rid of his knit button.
I didn't know if you had the button or not, Brian. I was like, maybe he'll muck face down.
No, he shows one card.
Classy for Brian to show the top pair.
Too far.
For George.
Yeah.
Moneymaker down about 30,000. Not an ideal result for him.
Let's get this next hand going. Quick reminder, if you're in or around the Houston area, we've got the live stream with Wolfgang coming up on Thursday, 4:20. 5:10 live stream here on TCH Live, followed by the meetup game, Wolfgang meetup game, starting at 7 p.m. at TCH Houston, Friday the 21st.
Wolfgang puts out some entertaining content on the YouTubes. Also seemingly playing higher over the years. Good to see him having some success. That should be a fun meetup game and stream.
Yeah, absolutely. ZeeFish here. Raising it up from the cutoff with the 10-7 suited. Brian will make the call. The players are out of the way. And there's a 6 right in the window and a 10 right behind it. So top pair and a gut shot for ZeeFish. Bottom set for Brian. Oh my goodness. 2 pair now for ZeeFish. There's a flush out there and a 1-liner to a straight, but 2 pair good enough for ZeeFish to bet for value. Brian quickly calling, and this hand is just moving along.
No, you're good.
I think you froze him in the shoes with the talk.
Yeah, ZeeFish here, fortunate to have the board run out the way that it did. He definitely could have put a lot more chips in the middle.
I don't know what it means. He just went into check mode.
I know someone else who did that once.
Hand 90. 25, 25, 50, no limit. $100 straddle is on. It's Ben K and Aaron McAvoy with you for the last 3.5 hours. 30 minutes remain, or so, give or take, in this live stream. Again, if you haven't hit the like button and subscribed, make sure you do that for us, folks. All this free content in exchange for 1 free subscribe and smashing of that like button. Really appreciate everybody joining us.
V-Pips popped up there for a brief moment. A lot of players in the 30% range. Kyle Z way, way, way down at the bottom, 12.5%. Really getting some unfavorable card distribution here this night, tonight to play very many hands.
The relationship counselor.
Relationship counselor.
I'm gonna be a life coach too.
Ryan here going to stick around with the pocket 3s on ace 10-7.
He was super resistant of me at first, but we're gonna end up.
I don't like where this conversation is going.
We're gonna end up super tight. Probably gonna end up doing a lot of business.
George improves to the best hand with the pair of king on the turn. He'll take this one down. So here's a question for you. Last time we spoke before the cruise, I believe you still hadn't finished the last season of the OA. Have you since done so?
We have, and it's just wild, and it's so frustrating knowing that they're not bringing it back because they just left it. I mean, one of the more entertaining shows we've watched in a while. It got so weird there for a minute, but also that was probably, we finished it maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, and let's see, what did we just finished watching the latest season of You on Netflix, which is pretty entertaining. But we've got Firefly on the list since you've been 2 for 2 on TV recommendations, so excited to start that one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, great show. I mean, they just the gal that is like the star who also co-wrote it is like so talented. She did a great job, we thought.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's right.
Just the brain space you have to be in to write a show like that it's impressive, and also like, how do you even get there? I mean, some of the stuff that, yeah. It's a crazy
it's
show.
Impossible to describe, so you just have to watch it for sure. But I'm very glad that you guys appreciated and enjoyed it. So
absolutely, yeah. There's been very few shows that are not just like, all right, on to the next one. That one definitely affected us, and it's always a good sign, or at least for me, the sign of a good show is if I have to YouTube it after to make sure I understood everything, to like get more info about the plot. I definitely did that with those seasons.
Got a $5 super chat here from our fearless leader Ryan Crow, saying that he will match all super chats dollar for dollar for the next 10 minutes. Show some love for our commentators.
Uh-oh.
Thank you so much, Ryan. That is awesome. If anybody would like to drop us a super chat. Ryan is going to match it dollar for dollar, and all of that money goes
This is awesome.
to me and Ben and the production staff for TCH Live. So would very much appreciate your all's support. Thank you guys so much, and thank you, Ryan, for that generosity.
Thank you so much, Ryan. If you don't know, Ryan is the founder and CEO of Texas Card House. Well, at least the founder. I'm not sure still the CEO or not. But Ryan running the entire show here across the entire state of Texas, put himself a pretty nice brand.
Yeah, I would just tell the floor. I would
Oh
just
my God! And they just let him. They make him sit there like because they're not sure.
All right, Yacht Club getting rid of his knit button.
200.
Always a relief.
Moneymaker again.
This is the second time.
Yeah, and I feel like the knit buttons have moved quite a bit faster this time around, as none of the players over on this end of the table that we can see have their button any longer. It's only players over on that far side of the table there.
But if I fold it to him, and everybody folded to him,
that 500 was one of the best.
All right, Chris in the chat dropping us $99.99.
Wow.
Dude, thank you so much. You are
Sturdy.
the man.
Sturdy. Great game last week that we called. That's a very classy move, $99 super chat.
No, it's fine. For you, you get $200 either way. But for you, the good part is if you have a good hand, you know he's going to try to win. So you get a lot of action. If you have bad hands.
Yeah, Daniel Gunther here says a good show to watch, Altered Carbon. Absolutely, I agree with that. Very fun show.
Yeah, it's like a free roll almost.
As we've got Kyle Z on Black Kings, Brian Green Black Sevens.
Pretty scared actually. Look at Ace. You're not scared, man. Come on, I've already proved to you how scared I am. I've got to make sure I have it against you.
Oh, that last one was quick.
Ryan Crow dropping the 99 cents off of that one.
Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it takes a long time.
Yeah.
If like two people are running bad, at least like.
Oh my gosh! And Kim Stone dropping a 99.99
Wow,
super
wow,
chat
wow.
as well.
Yeah.
Nobody else did for a while.
Hayden and Kimmy had a rare double win today, plus 12K in the in the 2-5 games. And you can share some love with us. Dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it so much,
That
Kimmy.
is very cool. Congrats on the nice win, 2-5. 12K and 2-5 across two people is pretty strong.
All right, bet a 700 on the flop by Kyle Z with the ace on board. Brian makes the call. Check on the turn, and Brian fires out a tiny little bet.
You guys go to Coronado Island again?
1,100 into 73.
One of my favorites. It's so nice.
The people that get to live there, like you know those homes right in front, just like.
Kyle makes the call. Stack to pot ratio under 1. And it's an 8 of spades on the river.
Paolo, you moved from LA, right? Not, yeah.
Brian would have to go for the whole enchilada here to try to get Kyle Z to fold his hand, I believe.
Is their favorite? Wow.
It's just too hard to beat.
Yeah.
Instead, he's going to go half pot, 4,500 if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah, there is an extra chip there, so that's 4,500.
Like a peek out.
Not
But they're
35.
paying for the home already.
Yeah, guys, if they can afford that, yeah.
I guess all of San Diego's really.
And God, if you're Kyle, this just feels so nasty. Like it's just always just like some stupid ace queen or something. Maybe even ace 10 that is just like totally punking your kings right now. Doesn't even care about the jack kicker on board.
Oh my God.
Oh, well that's.
But at the same time, Brian is capable of some dastardly deeds, and this is one of those. He shows his neighbor, doesn't show the table, gets away with it, taking 5K off of Kyle Z. With that hand right there, Kyle Z not going to Taco Bell so easily anymore.
The turns have tabled where
Hey, you tried some tacos.
now there are more winners than losers.
Tell me that they more than 10 times better than.
Oh, they're talking tacos here.
But here I never do like fish tacos. Over there I always go with.
Mark Wee, super chat, $99.99. Keep up the good work,
authentic
guys. Can't pass up the match day stack from Ryan.
Yeah.
Mark Wee, thank you so
not
much.
even in the same
Very classy dono there from you as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Pretty
And
clutch
thank you
to
to
have.
everybody, too, just for tuning in and hanging out with us this fine evening.
Because
always a pleasure to be on this show with you as well, Ben. Just what a great life we've got.
Yeah, right
hanging
back
out,
at you.
watching poker and having a good time.
As well as having the boss matching all donations for an undefined amount of time. So that's a nice little icing on the cake. But yeah, always a good time to be with you on the stream, Aaron. Always learn something, and yeah, a delightful back and forth you and I always have.
That's not comparable here, right? Just like a
Sure.
5-5, 1K.
All right, so 9-8 of diamonds here against 10-8 of clubs.
Got a big one.
Heads up to a flop.
I don't know what I'm doing. Not full betting.
But I'm sure people can afford it, you know.
Yeah, I just don't know where.
And Yacht Club here with the betting lead pre-flop. Yeah, it pretty much just gets to barrel at this. And Brian has no way to continue. Yacht Club here, who had got himself up pretty big for, you know, first couple of hours there. Ran into a couple of nasty spots. Now only up 1.8K, but is still positive.
I like
for the night.
Yeah, I've never done Tampa. Do you like it? You know, I hear a lot of people prefer the west side of Florida compared to the
Yeah, well, that Tampa.
Yeah, you're good.
If I could like live anywhere with no other
No
consideration.
matter what happens from here, I don't want to be like that wishy-washy.
Yeah, we'll hold you to it.
It's okay to change your opinion.
Yeah, 200K on the table just between the top 4 stacks. Add up the rest of it, it's very nearly $300,000 on this table.
Okay.
300 for Moneymaker, ace jack off.
Funny thing is, these guys always let me win.
Gosh, Brian Green has had like a 4-hour massage.
It's a plan, Brian.
Living the life right there.
Life, yeah. Must be tough.
One night, I'm not playing for a week. I'm not fucking playing the next day anymore.
You want to know the secret, Brian?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do any more fucking 6 a.m. and then come back the next day.
You want to know the secret? We're never letting you win, buddy.
70K in one night.
We're trying to take the money every hand.
Check flop between Kyle Z and Moneymaker here. Kyle gonna go for some value now on the turn.
Tell me when the next day is. I've always been there for the first night when you win it. I haven't been there for the second day where you lose it back. So.
When I flip it all off against Dom?
Yeah, I need to be there. I need to be there on the
I
days.
showed up with 70 in my bag and he just had me flip it all off.
I didn't do nothing. You didn't do shit.
He got me with this shit, JD. He's like, I've been playing for 40 minutes and he bluffed me. He bluffed me the very first spot I played. I 3-bet ace jack of hearts, and the flop came like king jack deuce, and he just fucking snapped all ins out of position, all in for 25K. And I'm like, fuck. I fold and he shows me 10-7. He's drawing fucking dead basically. 10-7 of diamonds. True story.
Yeah.
And then,
and
then right after that, he's
Get
like,
notarized.
I'm leaving, this is boring. He's like, this is fucking boring. He's like, I'm leaving, this is fucking boring. I'm like, bro, you're leaving? I've just been here 40 minutes. Like, he's like, you showed up too late. And he's like, I'll flip though if you want. I'm like, okay.
You gotcha.
Exactly.
Got him.
He did. I was driving home going, like,
Pretty wild story, man.
Dude, Brian Green is full of them.
But you notice the amounts too? The amounts are perfect, right? The first one is 5K, right?
No, it was 4K.
4K? And the next
4K, and I won the first one, so the second one he's like,
Well,
let's do 8K, let's do 8K.
You can't say no to the second one.
Okay, all right. And then the next one he's like, 10K. I'm like, no, fuck it, let's do the whole 25K. He's like, okay.
Notice on the second
6
one.
flips, I only won the first one.
He didn't go to 10K on the second one.
How do you lose 5?
How does it happen?
And then on the last one, I'm like, oh yeah, ace high flush. Got you. He's got all of his 9 cards showing. He's got kings and eights.
What's he talking about?
Oh, some guy that I guess
To be fair, I've seen.
he was playing against, ended up doing a bunch of flips because the guy got bored and wanted to leave. And they flipped 6 times apparently. He won the first one and lost the next 5. And
As soon as Cashman started taking his side, I couldn't win one.
Oh, yeah.
He got that young look on his side. Young vampire look. Like, how can you lose? How can you lose with Cashman on your side? Cashman felt bad for him because Shorshi was taking my side, and he was like, "All right, this motherfucker is tripping, and I'll take." He's like, "I'll take Don's side."
All right, ZeeFish here going to try to get into this pot from the button with a Jack 7 suited.
Was he sweating for you?
After George raised it up to 7-4.
He messaged me after sorry, bro. You lost like
See, who still has their
Sorry,
nip
not
buttons
sorry
is
at all.
the question.
I'll take care of the
Top pair here for Brian, second pair for George.
Yeah. The sympathy text is when you know you really fucked up.
That's what we did with JD. When like now he bounced back.
I got one of those from
Bounce
Paolo.
back, you're fucking
The
give it all back
last
tonight.
session I played.
The night's not over. Let's all sign to play till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Network. Roll, plan for roll.
I think we're only down to just a couple players with nip buttons, and I suspect it's like Moneymaker and
Two pair, huh? We have a 2 pair, huh? Max.
perhaps Kyle Z. Not exactly sure who. I can't really see anybody that has one anymore.
Brian, there was a day we
So did
didn't
they
get to the end of the game and miss it somehow, did we?
I feel like there'd be more hubbub. I mean, obviously we can't see the left side of the table right now.
I mean, really, I'm expecting you guys to pay for my condo in Vegas for the next 6 months.
You're on a good way.
But yeah, I don't see any anymore.
Good deal.
I don't know. Maybe they just sort of unceremoniously paid it out
Not only are you invited, but I'll show you the best
and
time
moved
you've ever
on.
seen me. That's my word, on my word.
That could be
Get my
dangerous.
number.
'Cause, yeah, it looks like Kat has the pile of nip buttons in front of her.
Oh my God.
And no one else has one.
I got the hookup for everything.
Ragnar Overby with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much.
Use guys. Guys are winning.
George here going to go ahead and raise this up 300 to go.
Best food,
Yeah,
whatever you want.
Umid! Hey, what's up?
Umid in the flesh. Been a while since we've seen him.
Welcome. You can crash in my condo too, for sure.
Put yourselves problem? Put yourselves problem? Can you?
I'll put you in.
Dong here makes the call pre-flop in a dominated position. Both players in a gut shot now for Dong on the
I was
turn.
telling him, like, if you want to play above 1025,
Danny in the chat says that we missed it. Moneymaker paid it up again. Okay, that makes sense. Thanks for that, Danny.
When I see the politics starting here, I'm like, fuck,
That sucks, man. Back-to-back
It
Nick games. Having to pay that one out. That's 3,200 you're down.
Yeah, that
The
hurts.
thing about it is like a lot of times they're wrong too. Like I'll be sitting in a game there and then someone will message and they're like, "Oh no, we don't want this guy," and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
King Jack High gonna win at Showdown here, as neither Dong nor George wanted to fire at the river.
He tries to money with the game. Like whatever, they don't like his hair color, his cologne doesn't smell right.
And yeah, really tough for Moneymaker after getting felted and taking some serious damage, then also having to pay out the Nick game. Oof, feels bad.
Yeah.
Until I'm not.
Yeah.
Did I what?
Did you recognize
They
the
always invite me until they don't.
No.
The only thing you gotta do is get like under the skin of like the wrong fish or whatever, and then they won't let you come anymore.
Yeah. It only takes one person.
It's very nerve-wracking.
You had me distracted, Kyle.
But I can't even get readers in the game for at least a few times.
Yeah.
What's he talking about?
You might decide that you're not action after the first couple of sessions.
And then they're like, yeah.
I was trying
Not
to smell
exactly
something.
sure.
Moneymaker Jack 10 off.
Kyle, I gotta see.
I mean, even the games in the casinos, like at Bellagio.
I said I got to tell you the line.
Hey, Paolo has gone silent here for a little while. He's gonna
It's either 5-10.
take off a flop from the straddle with the Jack 5 suited. Moneymaker flops a up and down straight draw.
But that's it.
Anything above that, you're not going to find good action.
300, you say? 195.
Checky. Moneymaker here with an opportunity to bet and pick up the pot with his jack high. Will overbet the pot.
Trying to make it as hard as possible, and Paolo me.
It's $300. $300 buy-in, so that's 32,000.
Probably only during WSOP. It was.
Yeah, this week will buy.
I was actually disappointed because this was the first time I was in Vegas.
No. It's $100.
Nobody complaining about those darn Euro Pros tonight.
So like 100 goes to bounty. Maybe like
Yeah, Moneymaker taking it in the shorts. JD here, while not probably a Euro Pro, definitely getting run through the meat grinder here this evening as well.
No, exactly.
Look at the RFIs there, between 40 and 20%.
I mean, look at that shit. It's 50 years old, baby. Come on. That's not bad.
JD here, perhaps a little bit of a loose open, hijack, Jack 10-0, and Moneymaker here with a real hand on the button, going to come in for a three-piece.
Goddamn, I know one of these days someone's going to take my offer up in TCH of my cage match, too.
Oh, man. Who would it be? Assassin?
I'm laying 2-to-1 odds on any amount for anyone in the fucking room.
Anyone?
It's a true offer.
Assassin will take you up on it.
It's like a fight. Yeah.
2-to-1 on any amount.
It used to be a thing in WWE, like wrestling, like they'd actually put like a cage down. It was like, you know, they're fight to the death. Nobody died, but you know what I mean.
Anybody come to the room?
Anyone in the room. Anyone in the room. I don't give a fuck.
But I know somebody who. I know somebody who looked at Bruce Lee though.
Anywhere from 19 years old to 60 years old, I'm ready to take them.
Jeez, that's a range.
He's trying to fight people. Is that what he's talking about? Getting in the ring?
I think that's what he's talking about, yeah. It's a little bit tough to pick his voice out from some of the other players and the ambient sounds, but I think that's what he was saying.
It's hilarious.
No, we're gonna invite like a real ringer, Brian, for you.
You can't invite anybody. It has to be someone that already plays
Okay.
here. I'm going to check their membership. They've had to have a membership for at least 90 days.
Just like bring in some UFC guy and be like, all right, here's my guy.
Yeah, have him start playing for a few months.
After this date.
Right.
That makes sense.
You know they have something like 18,000, 20,000 members. Right?
Ryan Crow says, signing off in 5. Any last minute super chats? I didn't ask. He asked.
2-to-1, how much was the max?
Last chance for the super chat match the stack.
600K take is the max.
As Mark Wee put it.
I'll raise 300K. 2-to-1.
Like, is it been?
What do you, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or MMA? Or?
Yeah, I've practiced jiu-jitsu for the last 5 years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you're putting up the 600?
Yeah, 600 to 300. I mean, no, I'm putting up 600 to 300.
Yeah.
It's on me? Sorry about that.
Now I'm getting fucking nervous.
Yacht Club here going to call with the same hand different suit. ZeeFish completes from the straddle, and we'll go 3 players to a flop.
Oh, clubs. Yacht Club flopping the 7 high flush. No one has anything though.
And he leads straight out into this field with the flush. And everyone just folds, so no additional chips going in there.
He let me out. I broke my right ankle super bad. How much he let you out? No, he messaged me, I heard you're hurt really bad, you're in the hospital. He's like, so we're not fighting, right? He accused me of trying to hustle him anyway.
Doug R here with a $50 super chat says, match it, yo. Thanks, man. Appreciate you so much, Doug.
Go Tigers.
Yeah. He messaged me that he thought I flipped him over, that I hustled him.
It's his job to research. You know what I mean?
Because he gave me 2-to-1. Yeah. He gave me 2-to-1 on 100,000. So it's my 100,000 to his 200,000. Because he completely obliterated JC Alvarado.
Oh yeah, I saw
and he's
that.
a Golden Gloves boxer. So I just was like.
All right, Kyle Z raising this up, and we're all going to wait for Paolo to look at his rags before he folds.
Careful of the chair, Paolo.
said, I don't give a fuck. They give me 2 to 1 odds. We'll go.
I was talking to
And
Paolo.
he's like, all right. And then whenever
Raise and take it.
during the negotiations after I said yes, he told me he felt like I wasn't truthful with him. He's like, you told me you have no.
Looking there at the earnings. Yacht Club still up a couple thousand. Kyle Z. After that one hand gone wrong, stuck 4.3.
Yeah. And then it's TCH Live.
Good question from Marquis.
Hey, George.
Oh, Ryan says, ask him on Friday about when the Las Colinas location is opening. I was curious too.
Okay, all right.
And then y'all let the best German in the house play against y'all. Why do y'all play favorites? This guy?
You just fucked him up.
Lucky I had to fucking hit it goddamn 4 hours.
And he paid you off, see? He's a paid off Nick.
No, he went all in. He didn't pay me off. He jammed.
Moneymaker just winces and looks at the table like, oh yeah.
Well, I said it's not impossible. Nice one.
It's not impossible, but it's very.
Brian makes the call here. 3,100 in the middle. Kyle Z. The 2 overcards and the betting lead here. Not the most amazing flop he's ever seen, but worthy of a continue. And Brian here is like, this flop kind of sucks for you and could be good for me. Why not just click it up a little bit? 2,400 to go. I love this rule. If you lose with a full house, we'll give you a piece of bacon. It's that good. Man, all right. I don't want to lose with a boat, but I do want to try this bacon.
Bad beat bacon.
BMG.
Why?
Because he's trying to dong you. He's trying to show you the bluff, and he's going to try to flip you.
Oh.
Win all the money that way.
All right, so Kyle Z releases the ace king. Brian scoops another pot.
We're not bailing JD out.
I fucking gave away 70 times, dude. Most people.
Oh, buddy, you're definitely bailing me out. Somebody's bailing me out.
I heard a buddy. Did you hear a buddy? I heard a buddy.
Oh, there's lots of buddies.
Buddies at home, bro.
Yeah, you haven't used a buddy in a long time.
Don't tease me with buddies at home.
Buddy's my tilt word. Tilt word.
Aren't you supposed to lose when buddy's at home? What's going on?
Exactly.
What's going on?
Buddy's watching a live stream. He's like, all right, buddy,
I can
I'll
see
put the
it.
live stream on the TV for you. Send me your energy.
We'll see it.
Bad beat bacon.
Bad beat
I
bacon.
am ready. Wow, a walk here for Moneymaker. Is this real? It is.
A true walk.
Man, while we're talking about food, I had a truly amazing meal last night.
Oh, tell me more.
So,
Just like on the other side.
one of the guys that I play with is a Chinese fellow
If you need to check it, just
here in Austin. We've been playing in same games for quite some time. And there's a little Chinese place not too far from here. It's just like a block away, basically. And it's Americanized Chinese, you know, kind of greasy food, whatever.
Sure.
And I eat there fairly regularly. I know the guy that owns the place and, you know, just kind of chummy with him. And I think it's, you know, good enough. So that's what I will get sometimes when I'm not feeling like getting a Cabo Bob's burrito or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Victor, he always gives me a hard time about it. He's like, that's not real Chinese food. You gotta go to this other place with me sometime. So finally we went there last night. It's called the Hunan Bistro.
Okay.
It's not that far from the card room. And I am telling you, that was some of the best food. Not just Chinese food, but some of the best food I've had.
Really?
In a long time. It was delicious. And like some really off-the-wall stuff that I would not have thought to have ordered. Beef tendon, for example, just as an appetizer.
Yeah.
It was delicious. Then there was like a lamb and fish fillet dish. Like,
I
who
would
decided
never,
to
ever
put
order
those two together?
Yeah.
That was very good. It was just phenomenal. The pork belly made my eyes roll up in my head.
I
mean,
freaking love a pork belly bite.
yes. So if anybody is around the Austin area and looking for some really good, authentic Chinese food that will make your freaking mouth water, yeah, check that out. Hunan
All right,
Bistro.
Hunan Bistro. Okay. And was it a small place or was it like a big sit-down packed
Oh,
place?
no, like strip mall, little hole in the wall kind of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, Ryan, next time you're around, definitely take a peek. The beef tendon alone is just like enough to go in there.
Never had that.
I know. I was sort of frightened. I was like, what am I getting myself into? You know, like I'm going to be eating like chicken feed or something, you know, because I've gone to dim sum before at like a really authentic place. And they did have all the stuff, the chicken's feet and everything. And it was a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
But Victor did a fantastic job of ordering. And yeah, I'm pretty sure from what we had there that it would be impossible to find something on this menu that wasn't good.
That's awesome.
Pair of deuces here, still good for ZeeFish. George has the nut flush draw. George here weighing his options. And that man is grabbing a yellow chip.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Raised to 3.6K, and ZeeFish now with just the lonely pair of deuces. Really tough to hang on here.
How much did you play, George? 20.
George got out of line early on and showed the 7 deuce a couple times, right? But outside of that, George has played fairly straightforwardly. It'd be tough to put him on a bluffing hand, or sorry, a bluffing range wide enough that sticking around with deuces is going to be profitable, but perhaps just re-raising, says
wow.
ZeeFish.
ZeeFish sensing that George... Oh, George is going to rip it and ship it, ace-3 of diamonds.
And that's a pretty dangerous move that he just settled on the decision immediately.
29,000 in there right now. Whoa. What? And it's going to be hard for ZeeFish to call with the deuces, right?
Yeah, I mean, even if he knew exactly, like if George just turns over his cards, right, we can see that he's got 57% equity here. Like, yeah, ZeeFish would have the right price to call given the chips that are already in the middle, but I mean, he's behind from an equity standpoint.
Yeah, he even just said it. He said, if you're on a draw, you've got me beat.
Yeah, he's going to do some math here, but this would be a massive call off.
George has been waiting for this situation tonight, or all night. Nice hand, $29,000 pot for the newcomer. Unbelievable.
Nice hand, George.
Yeah, and the problem for ZeeFish there is that even if his opponent only has a naked 6 or 5, and I say only, like just doesn't have already a full house, right? Like he's just on a 2-outer, pure 2-outer. And if his opponent does indeed have a flush draw, it's 2 overs and any diamonds, so he's behind that as well. It's like his equities are just so toast, even though it's put in 11 to win a pot that goes up to 40, right? He only needs like a little over 25% equity. It's just tough to even squeeze that out of the ranges that you're against. So,
yeah,
understandable fold and just a little bit of a misstep there for ZeeFish, even though he did have sort of the right read that his opponent did not have a made hand.
Nice hand, George. That'll get you hooked. Winning a scooping a nice sized pot like that.
And And yeah, that's a huge pickup for George because he was stuck about 10K.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just about what he won there. He might be actually completely out of the woods as far as profit loss. Dong here going for the big squeeze. He'll take this one down. And hand number 108 is in the books. So we look there. No, George not quite out of the woods yet. Still stuck $800, but all things considered, that is one heck of a big comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge pot.
Yeah, and ZeeFish, who had been up, what, maybe 12K or so at his peak, back into the negative after that play gone south.
Yikes.
Got a few more minutes here till the 10 o'clock hour. ZeeFish here raising it up, 300 to go with the Jack-9 suited. Kyle Z, his turn to battle with the Ace-3 of diamonds.
Kyle, you started with 10? Yep. Okay.
ZeeFish getting accurate accounting before making the call. Here we go, heads up to a flop jack in the window. No diamonds out there for Kyle. Check, bet, and call. Kyle picks up a gut shot here on the turn. Needs a 5 to improve his hand, and with 3,600 in the middle, 8.4 the effective stack. ZeeFish checks it over to Kyle one more time. Is this the time for Kyle to go bet, bet, jam? And he is indeed setting it up. 2,500 now, it looks like.
$2,500.
How much?
It's always tough to go around folding top pairs, but this doesn't feel great. Here's ZeeFish.
Such a strange board, especially when it goes raise 3-bet pre. I don't know.
Thing is that when you make this call, you're sort of setting yourself up for having to call on any blank river. 6 of diamonds definitely qualifies. Checks it over, and Kyle here.
Oh, no.
I think he pretty much has to go for this and hope that ZeeFish had some sort of heart draw or something, but
Gosh, you hate that when you're ripping it with pure air and your opponent immediately goes, how much? Like, oh, God. I know you got showdown value. Please fold.
yeah, so this is a bet. Wait, is perhaps our count is wrong, but I think it is roughly correct.
I just need one second. I need to take a look. Take your time.
Yeah, ZeeFish having the 9 also not great, right? You could imagine 9-10 of spades, as well as all of the other 9-10 combos going for 3 streets like this.
Don't bluff a tilted ZeeFish.
I got a jack.
Ah, shit. All right.
No, I am tilted.
Kyle calls it out. Don't bluff a tilted ZeeFish.
And you know,
Because he will
I
call
was,
you.
in my mind, I was saying, Kyle knows I'm tilted. He would not do that.
I wouldn't do it, ZeeFish. I wouldn't do that, buddy. That would be suicidal.
Well, suicide complete as Kyle dusts off his stack, ships it over to ZeeFish, who bounces back immediately and is now up 5K.
I think so.
Ryan Crow signing off. Great stream. Thanks, everyone, he says. Well, excellent. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
matching
Ryan.
those super chats, and looking forward to seeing you the next time you're around, or I'm up in Dallas there, Ryan, so take care. See you next time.
Thank you, Ryan. Looking forward to hearing some more news on Friday about Las Colinas, hopefully.
Absolutely.
That'd be nice. That would have been nice.
Hand 110. It's 10 p.m. Central Time. We've made it.
No knit button this time.
Oh, same hand. No, seriously, same hand.
Kyle's trying to
I
hit
didn't
the Series
bother.
5 on the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
For revenge.
that would've
For the revenge.
All right, so Kyle Z back in for another 10K.
been sick.
You often don't see Kyle Z rebuy once he gets felted. You'll generally see him take a walk, but maybe it's a new era of Kyle Z. New set of black tees.
I know you hit the 5, but I really just thought you had
Rebuying
6s.
for another snack of high society.
Like when you call the turn, I'm like.
So we're still playing the 2-card game. Interesting.
Like, I mean, there's no way I could be bluffing. So this is why you called me all the way. I'm like, shit, do you have anything?
Yeah, no, we did get started just a little bit late, but we'll see
What do I have? Ace, King 6? I got King 6.
how much longer we're going to go. And
One hand.
thank you guys all for tuning in, hanging out with us here this evening, as we are on hand 111.
Make a
Yacht
wish.
Club, waking up with the Jack 10 from the first straddle.
Jack 10 of hearts is nice. ZeeFish, happy to complete. Heads up, ace 10 off. Uh-oh. Pair of jacks for Yacht Club. Never try to bluff a tilted ZeeFish. 3 of spades on river. But I guess you bet him for value.
Yeah, a little
Check the
surprised
top pair on
that-
river. Ugh.
Sort of, I guess, you know, giving ZeeFish an opportunity to bluff, but you know, a lot of times people are going to start bluffing earlier in the hand, especially in position like that. You know, check, check, flop, and then you bet. You know, they can just raise you right there on the turn. So I don't know, not a ton of bluffs, I think, in the range there.
This you do?
Do.
This is the one.
I'm gonna play the undo card.
So you gotta start doing, yeah. So you do. Complain about not ever winning them, then yes, you win them for sure.
Okay, Brian Green, after getting his 4-hour massage, has now been away
Actual
from the table for a
4-hour
while.
massage.
I was to say this is the first time he plays in the past 2 hours.
All right, open and a 3-bet here from Paolo. And it comes queen, queen, 8. Top trips here for Dong. Paolo, a whole lot of not much. That's a half pot size continue here from Dong. No, not even a continue, it's a lead. As Paolo was the pre-flop 3-better. Paolo's gonna make the call here with the king high. No club on board. And Dong is just literally just going bet, bet with top trips.
Wow.
Both these players extraordinarily deep, and Paolo's like, okay, I mean, I guess your 8, it just wins, which is normally what you'd give him credit for in a spot like that. Maybe even pocket, you know, 5s or something that's just like, this looks like a decent board to lead.
And that looks like that was the last 2-card hand, $500 flip.
I have to go. So you guys vibrating me now. But I'll be back.
1 hour. 1 hour? You say for a little bit, or
maybe an hour?
That hour turns into 15 hours really quick.
But it's still on the same table, right?
Yeah, we don't move. We don't move. We just
Yeah,
all right,
for an hour.
one last shot at glory here. $500 flip per player. Somebody going to be scooping up 4K here
just like get rid of a blind, just
momentarily.
51? Okay.
And with that, going to bring us to the end of our Tuesday night TCH Live edition of Quarter 50.
This is the last flip. Last flip, yeah.
I am Aaron McAvoy, hanging out with you here tonight with Ben Kirby.
Yes, sir.
It's been a fantastic show here. Lots of action, a lot of big pots and chips flying around, so I certainly have enjoyed myself.
As have I, and the stakes have been huge, and we just kind of like glazed over a few $30,000 pots, which was always a fun environment to be a part of, and always a pleasure to be with you, Aaron, in the virtual booth. Great times, as always.
Absolutely. So with this run out, Dong here is going to go ahead and make the 9-high straight here with the Dolly Parton. He's going to ship 3.5K towards himself, and then we'll take one more look there at the earnings. Dong with that pot moving up to very nearly 30,000 in the black tonight. Brian Green not too far behind him. Paolo, ZeeFish, Yacht Club all taking home a little bit of profit as well. The remaining 4 players taking some damage. But good showing here this evening. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Adios.